Chapter 1848. In 1 second, she remembered, love divided by you. Read book, web no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue had a guess in her heart, but she did not intend to say it out loud. Instead, she asked about the double fiends of the Black Shadows. The more Yu Yin said, the more certain she was of her thoughts. Yu Yin meant that the double fiends of the Black Shadows were the most valued assassins of the princess, and they were often sent out to kill important people. The fact that they were sent to kill Sima Yu was, in everyone's eyes, a waste of talent. Sima Yue calculated in her heart. If these two people came to kill her, she estimated that her own strength was not enough. At least she would have to use Xiao Zi or Mier. However, these two powerful people had disappeared after coming to assassinate him. The person who could quietly deal with these two people must be even more powerful. Such powerful people were killed. No wonder she wants to kill me even more. Sima Yue shrugged. If there is a party, will you go? Yu Yin asked her. I won't go. Anyway, I don't need to maintain a superficial relationship with her, so it doesn't matter if I go or not. Sima Yue said. Besides, the things you want may be here in 2 days. At that time, I still have to treat Wang Ye, so it's better not to have any accidents. That's true. Yu Yin nodded. I'm here. Thank you, second prince. Sima Yue nodded to Yu Yin, went up the stairs, opened the door, and went out. Back in her room, Sima Yue lay on her bed, thinking about what Yu Yin said. Double fiends of the Black Shadows. Did you do it? She put her hands behind her head and murmured. After she fell asleep, Huan's faint figure appeared. It took you so long to find out. Should I have shown up earlier? But you haven't remembered me yet. Sima Yue's eyes moved, but she did not wake up. 2 days later, the prince's mansion really sent invitations to all the princes and their families to attend the party. Sima Yue only glanced at the invitation and continued to check on Gu Zipping. You're recovering well. Sima Yue finished her checkup and said, You're in good spirits too. You're in a good mood. It helped your body recover. I'm really happy that Mingda crippled that person, especially when I heard that their doctors couldn't treat him at all. He's already been treated as trash. Gu Zipping was in a good mood. The hatred in his heart had dissipated. Your meridians are recovering well. You will be able to move in a few days. Sima Yue said, I'm looking forward to seeing those people's expressions when they see Xi Ping. Zhang Mingda said proudly, You've been crippled, but you've recovered, while he's crippled forever. I think their expressions must be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it too, Fang Yinghan said. Remember, don't tell anyone that I cured you, Sima Yue reminded her. We know that Miss likes to keep a low profile, Zhang Mingda said cheerfully. We'll definitely keep it a secret from Miss. It's good that you know. Sima Yue gave him a knowing look. Are you going to the gathering? Fang Yinghan asked. No, if they ask, just say that I've reached the bottleneck and am in seclusion. Sima Yue said, Well, I won't come out for the next 2 days. That's a good idea. Even if it's the princess, she can't make someone give up on advancing, right? Especially at such an important time. Zhang Mingda said, All right, Xi Ping, have a good rest. I'll go back first. Don't go out for the next few days. If the princess can't find a chance to attack me, she might vent her anger on you guys, Sima Yue reminded them. We know, they all replied. 2 days later, the third round of the competition ended without any suspense. This time, the situation in vast region wasn't good. Only Fang Yinghan, Zhang Mingda, and Sima Yue advanced. Moreover, Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingda won by a narrow margin. If they met a stronger opponent, they would be in danger. Sima Yue didn't make a move this time. The Black Dragon allowed her to advance without any obstacles. It should be said that after the experience of the Black Dragon smashing people into meat pies, her opponent directly admitted defeat this time. Therefore, those who wanted to see Sima Yue make a move were all disappointed. Murong Shi. Sima Yue was called at the exit. Greetings to the first prince, second prince, seventh prince, and little prince. Sima Yue and the people of vast region bowed to them. Will you come to the banquet tomorrow? Yulu looked at her and asked. Of course I will. Sima Yue lowered her head and looked very obedient. Yulu went in front of Sima Yue and sniffed her hair. He said gently, Then we'll see you tomorrow, Sima Yu took a step back without a trace and bowed, saying, "See you tomorrow." Yu Lu left satisfied. Sima Yu was so disgusted that she almost vomited. "Miss, are you really going?" Zhang Mingda and the others clenched their fists just now. If Yu Lu behaved more excessively, they didn't know if they would do something impulsive. "Didn't we already make a decision that day?" Sima Yu said, "I'm going back to advance." Everyone's mouth twitched. "Then why did you agree so smoothly just now?" The next day, Murong Hui went to the banquet alone. Princess and Yu Lu were talking. Seeing him alone, she asked, "Where's she here?" "Princess, my daughter went back yesterday. She said that she watched other people's matches during the day and had some enlightenment. Suddenly, she was going to advance. So she's still in seclusion and can't come to the banquet." Murong Hui said, "Is she really in seclusion?" Yu Lu didn't believe it. Could it be that she doesn't want to come to the banquet held by Mother? "First Prince, you're too serious." She is most interested in these things. She feels very regretful that she can't come this time. Murong Hui didn't even pant when he spoke official words. "What are you talking about?" Yu the Great Wang Ye came out with 2 guards, followed by the sickly Yu Yan. "We were talking about Murong Shi, the daughter of Duke Murong. She said that she would come to the banquet before, but now she said that she suddenly has a tendency to advance, so she can't come." Yu Lu said unhappily, "Advancement is a big deal for us cultivators. If she can't come, then she can't come." Yu the Great Wang Ye didn't care. "Wang Ye is right. Princess consort of Great Yu said." She said to the maidservant beside her, "Now that everyone is here, we can start." "Yes, Princess." The maidservant stepped forward and announced the start of the banquet. Immediately, a group of beautiful women walked in with good wine. When the banquet was halfway through, the princess raised her wine glass and said, "Wang Ye, this concubine would like to propose a toast to you. Thank you for your hard work in this region competition." Wang Ye and the princess consort clinked their wine glasses and drank the wine in one gulp. When he put down his wine glass, he suddenly frowned. "Wang Ye, what's wrong with you? Are you not feeling well?" The princess consort asked with concern. Yu the Great Wang Ye wanted to say that he was fine, but when he opened his mouth, he spat out a mouthful of blood and then fell to the side. Chapter 1849. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read, book, webno pop-up windows, free to read. When Yu the Dayu Wang Ye fell, the entire scene panicked. Wang Ye, what's wrong? Did his old illness relapse? Where's the doctor? Doctor, come and take a look. The entire banquet exploded as everyone looked at Yu the Dayu Wang Ye, who was surrounded by the princes. "The doctor is here. Let him in." Yu Yan panted as he pulled the doctor over. The people outside quickly made way for them. "Dr. Hao, quickly take a look at Wang Ye. What's wrong with him?" The princess consort retreated to the side and gave her seat to Dr. Hao. Dr. Hao had always been Wang Ye the Dayu's personal doctor. He would usually follow Wang Ye to various places to prevent situations like today from happening. After he examined Wang Ye, he said, "The cold in Wang Ye's body has relapsed. We must go to the hot springs immediately. Wang Ye is so weak now. How can we move him? Don't you have any other way?" The princess consort cried out. "Princess consort, please calm down. The cold in Wang Ye's body is not ordinary. We have always relied on the hot springs to suppress it. We don't know why it suddenly relapsed, but we can only suppress it with the hot springs." Dr. Hao said, "Princess consort, please allow me to take Wang Ye to the other courtyard. The other courtyard is so far away. Will anything happen on the way?" The princess consort was still worried. "I will use pills to suppress Wang Ye's illness." Wang Ye's illness relapsed suddenly this time. We can't be sure if his illness has worsened. Dr. Hao said, "Princess consort, time is of the essence. Let's go quickly." "All right, today's banquet is over. We will take Wang Ye to the other courtyard." The princess consort ordered. The dukes were worried about Wang Ye's situation, but the princess consort and a few princes supported him and left. Only the housekeeper and servant girls were left to send them off. When they arrived at the other courtyard, a few guards came out and stopped them. "Princess consort, you can't go in." The guards said, "What time is it now? You're still stopping me." The princess consort slapped him, but the guard did not move. Only the second prince can go in. This is Wang Ye's order. Princess consort, please don't make things difficult for me. The guard said, that's usually the case. Now that His Highness is in danger, you're still telling me this? Do you think I won't kill you? The princess consort roared, Princess consort. Yu Yanzi said Princess consort, princess. When Imperial Father woke up, he would probably blame Imperial Mother. Let me bring Imperial Father in. Yu Yan said, The princess consort wanted to say that she wanted to go in as well, but Yu Yin had already led the prince into the courtyard. After the guards allowed them to pass, they stood in a row and blocked the rest of the people. Dr. Hao naturally followed him in. The princess consort. This was the only place she couldn't enter. She had a feeling that there was something mysterious about this place. She wanted to use this opportunity to find out what was going on, but she didn't expect those guards to be so inflexible. Mother, what should we do? Yu Lu asked. Of course we go back. Send a few people to wait here. If there's any news about Wang Ye, immediately report back to the prince's mansion. The princess consort gave a few orders and turned to leave. The princes also left, leaving only 2 guards to guard the door. In the other courtyard, Yu the great Wang Ye opened his eyes. He did not need Yu Yin and Dr. Hao's help and stood up on his own. You can leave first. Yu the great Wang Ye instructed Dr. Hao. Wang Ye, although you vomited blood because of the medicine, the cold in your body is indeed unstable. It's better to soak in the hot spring first. Dr. Hao said, Okay. Yu the great Wang Ye responded and turned to enter the inner courtyard. A guard appeared and led Dr. Hao to rest. When Yu the great Wang Ye and Yu Yin entered the inner courtyard, they saw Sima Yue waiting there. Are you ready? Sima Yue asked. Yes. I won't appear in front of anyone for the next few days. Yu the great Wang Ye said. I've already checked these things. Wang Ye, take the antidote first. Once the effect of the medicine is over, we can start to remove the forbidden medicine. Then, after a few days of recuperation, we can treat your old illness. As long as the forbidden medicine is removed, there should be no problem. Sima Yue took out a blood-red pill. Yu the great Wang Ye took the pill and ate it. His body, which had been surging with blood, instantly felt much better. While Sima Yue was waiting, she checked the things that they found one by one. These things had arrived the day before the 3rd round of the competition. After discussing with Wang Ye, she decided to pretend that Wang Ye had a relapse so that he could leave everyone's sight. Then, she would treat his injuries for the next few days. Yu Yin looked at Sima Yue, who was seriously checking the herbs, and thought about how she had methodically explained the plan 2 days ago. Finally, she had said, Didn't Wang Ye want to use this opportunity to remove the princess consort's power? She will only take action if you show weakness. At that time, both his father and he were shocked that she was so well-versed in politics. But she was right. If something happened to his father, the princess consort would not be able to sit still. They could use this opportunity to turn the tables on her. She was just a woman, but everything seemed to be under her control. It made people think that she was the final manipulator. As long as she was willing, she could turn the clouds and rain with a flip of her hand. Sima Yue felt him sizing her up. She looked up and smiled at him, then continued to organize the herbs. Half a day later, she asked someone to bring a wooden bucket over and poured cold water into it. Then, she poured the essence that she had refined into it. The cold water immediately boiled. Wang Ye, please take off your clothes and sit inside. Sima Yue said. The Yu Wang Ye looked at the green water that was still bubbling. The color was really ugly. Wang Ye, who was a little obsessed with cleanliness, frowned. In the end, he took off his clothes and sat inside. Wang Ye, don't look down on it. This is a priceless treasure. Sima Yue said with a smile when she saw his constipated face. How are you going to expel all the forbidden drugs? The Yu Wang Ye tried his best to divert his attention. It's easy to say. The process is a little painful, but this medicine can replenish your strength. It shouldn't be a problem for you to persevere. Sima Yue said, Do you need acupuncture? Yu Yin asked from the side. No need. Just eat this pill and you'll be fine. Sima Yu took out a pill and fed it to the prince. Once the pill entered his stomach, he felt as if his body was burning. It was even hotter than the boiling medicine outside, and there seemed to be something swimming in his body, causing every inch of his meridians and blood vessels to hurt as if they were being crushed. Yin saw that his father was in so much pain. He was worried, but there was nothing he could do. After a while, Sima Yue saw that there were some small bumps on Wang Ye's body. Her tense face revealed a smile. She picked up a knife and cut open the bumps, revealing something that looked like a stone inside. Chapter 1850. These small bumps were the remnants of the forbidden medicine in his body. They would absorb the medicinal effects of various pills, causing his injuries to be unable to heal. Mobile reading Sima Yue used a pair of tweezers to pick up the lumps and place them into a bowl that was filled to the brim. This is more than I expected. She took out the last pill and placed the bowl and tweezers on the table beside her. Then, she took out a medicinal pill for external injuries and fed it to Wang Ye. That's it, Yu Yin asked. I've done all I can. After Wang Ye absorbs all the liquid in this bucket, he can come out. Sima Yue said, only when the water is completely clear will he be able to come out. So simple. Yu Yin was a little surprised. He thought it would be very complicated. I told you it's easy. It's just that the process is a little painful. Sima Yue said, moreover, you may look simple, but the pills that Wang Ye ate and the concoction of this bucket of medicine are not things that anyone can do. The medicinal effect of the pill he ate was very strong, which was why he was able to force the forbidden medicine out of his body. The essence of the water would nourish his body during this process, preventing him from collapsing. It could also repair his internal organs and meridians that had been eroded by the forbidden medicine. It looked simple, but even the slightest mistake would be useless. You'll be fine after absorbing the essence? I can only say that today is good. Sima Yue said, for the next few days, I have to soak in it once a day. I have to soak in it once a day. Wang Ye was a little frustrated. Can't I just eat it directly? Your body has already been severely damaged, and you just ate such a powerful medicinal pill. Now that you're extremely weak, how can you withstand the effects of other medicinal pills? Taking a bath is the most gentle way. Sima Yue explained, the last 2 days can be changed into pills, but I have to compete, so I don't have the time to make pills. So, you can only take a bath. The two of them were speechless. She was the only one who could speak to Wang Ye like this. Then, Sima Yue pulled a chair over and sat beside the bucket. She observed his condition and checked on him from time to time. After 2 or 3 hours, the water in the bucket became clear again. All right, Wang Ye, you can come out now. With Sima Yue's permission, Yu Wang Ye came out of the water bucket. When he stepped out, his body swayed, and Yu Yin hurriedly went up to support him. Wang Ye's body is very weak now. It's best to carry him to bed to rest. Sima Yue said. Yu Yin picked up his father and placed him on the bed in the inner room. Then, he pulled the quilt over his father's body. Father, what do you think? It's pretty good. It's just that it's really embarrassing in front of a female junior. Yu Wang Ye said somewhat embarrassedly. Wang Ye is a patient now, and I'm a doctor. There's no need to be embarrassed. Sima Yue said as she walked over. I've seen many patients like you. There's nothing to see. Her words were very straightforward, and the Prince of Great Yu's face turned red. Yu Yin saw his father's embarrassment and changed the topic. When will my father recover his strength? He's weak now because he used too much energy just now. Although he absorbed the essence once, it's still too much. Sima Yue said, he'll be fine tomorrow after resting for a day. That's good. Prepare the herbs that we need later. Sima Yue handed Yu Yin a piece of paper. These are not rare. With your abilities, it's easy to gather them. Yu Yin took it and looked at it. Yes, these are available in the pharmacy in the side courtyard. Are these needed tomorrow? No, I'm going to use them. Sima Yue said. She seemed to feel that she was being too straightforward, so she explained, the herbs that I asked you to find before are very troublesome to refine. I need to replenish my mental strength. Okay, I'll get someone to prepare it immediately. Yu Yin walked to the door and gave the light note to the people outside. For the sake of convenience, I'll stay here for the next 2 days. After you prepared the things, send them to my temporary room. Sima Yue said, I'm tired after a busy night. I'll go back and rest first. She went out, and there was a maid outside who took her to the room prepared for her. Diyu Wangya lay on the bed and waited for her to leave before saying, Yin, what do you think of Morong Shi? What do you mean? Yin asked. Don't you think that as the daughter of a duke, she's more powerful than Morong Hui? Which duke's children can be half as powerful as her? Diyu Wangya said. I've suspected this before. Yu Yin said, What do you think? Diyu Wangya raised his eyes and looked at him. Yu Yin only hesitated for a moment before speaking out his conjecture. Father, I think she may not be Morong Shi. Yu Yin said. Not Morong Shi? Yes. Yu Yin nodded and sat down by the bed, saying, Father, do you still remember that General D came to find you 2 or 3 years ago? Of course I remember. He specially came to ask me to pay more attention to the matters in vast region. Diyu Wangya said, At that time, we were still wondering why he cared so much about the matters there. We thought it was because Murong Shi and the Dark Princess looked alike. Even if they look alike, there's no need to care so much, right? Yu Yin said, But General D specially came to remind me. This is indeed thought-provoking. Diyu Wangya replied. Moreover, no matter how biased the rumor is, it shouldn't be completely different. If it has changed so thoroughly, it can only mean one thing. This person is not the person in the rumor at all. Yu Yin continued to analyze. Amnesia will not change a person's character. Who do you think she is? Father, haven't you guessed it? Yu Yin said, She looks so similar to the Dark Princess, can get General D's attention, and is so powerful. Other than the Dark Princess's daughter, Sima Yue, there is no other possibility. It seems that you have guessed it long ago. Diyu Wangya said. When she showed her silver needle technique, anyone who knew about her in the human realm would be able to recognize her. Yu Yin said, It is indeed too obvious. Diyu Wangya sighed. I don't know how she became Murong Shi. We can ask about this in the future when we have the chance. For now, let's just treat her as Murong Shi. Yu Yin said, Father, you are very weak now. Rest well. We could talk about it later. After speaking, he got up and went out to let his father have a good rest. Sima Yue came to the resting room and sent the servant girl away. She casually set up a barrier and took out a medicinal herb. She called Little Black out and handed it to him, saying, Eat this. Little Black sniffed and turned his head to the side, but was pulled back by Sima Yue and stuffed the medicinal herb into his mouth. /26/26720/ Chapter 1851. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read, book, web no pop-up window, free to read. Little Black was ambushed and whimpered. It wanted to spit out the herbs, but when it saw Sima Yue's gaze, it ate the herbs aggrievedly. After eating, it lay at Sima Yue's feet and pretended to be dead. Sima Yue glanced at it indifferently. It's useless to pretend to be dead. You still have to eat it in the future. Woo-woo. Little Black opened its eyes and looked at her. Why did she let it eat such disgusting things? Sima Yue was also stunned. That's right. Why did she let Little Black eat herbs? From the first time she gave it to Little Black, it seemed to be a matter of course, as if she had done it before. There's a blood demon following you? TSK, TSK. It's a pity that it was struck by lightning. Its strength was sealed, and its body was left with hidden injuries. If you give it a lot of herbs, it might be able to recover. How much do you want? A lot. Sima Yue's body trembled. Such a conversation actually appeared in her mind. This voice. It's the same voice as the one who said he wanted to bet with me. She whispered softly. The underworld. Little Black saw that she was in a daze and ignored it, so it whimpered twice and interrupted her thoughts. Sima Yue came back to her senses and was a little angry. She took out a herb and stuffed it into its mouth. Woo woo woo. Little Black wanted to cry. I'm going to do something serious now. If you interrupt me again, I'll let you eat 10 herbs. Sima Yue threatened. Little Black shrank its neck, indicating that it would be obedient. Sima Yue came to the bed, sat cross-legged, and entered the cultivation mode. However, she did not cultivate this time. Instead, she entered her mind, found the sealed memories and began to attack the seal. Juan was hidden in the air. Seeing that she was attacking the seal, he was very worried. Little ancestor, that's a seal personally set by the king. How can it be broken so easily? You'll get hurt. Juan was anxious and wondered if he should come out to stop her. However, seeing that she was fine for the time being, he held himself back, but he still paid close attention to her condition. As time passed, Sima Yoyue's face turned paler and paler. Large beads of sweat dripped down her forehead, and she frowned. All of a sudden, the aura around her body became chaotic, and the power in her body surged. Her pale little face swelled up and turned blood red. Pff, she spat out a mouthful of blood, staining her skirt and the edge of the bed. Miss, Juan saw her vomiting blood and finally couldn't help but come out of the space. Sima Yue raised her head. There were still traces of blood at the corner of her mouth. She smiled at Juan. Juan, long time no see. Juan stopped when he was a step away from her, looked at her in shock, and said, You remember everything. Hello, I'm Juan. Juan? Which Juan? The most tragic Juan. Sima Yue repeated the conversation between the two of them, indicating that she really remembered. Juan's eyes flashed with surprise, but he still reprimanded her with a sullen face. Miss, how are you? How could you break through the king's seal? I didn't break through the seal by force. Sima Yue took out a pill and ate it. I felt that the seal was loosening, so I wanted to try. I didn't expect that I would really succeed. If the king finds out, he will definitely get angry with you. Juan said, Isn't he in the underworld? Sima Yue said, If you don't tell him, how would he know? Humph. So it seems that I won the bet. Sima Yue said, It's a pity that he's not here at this moment. No one has ever broken through the king's seal. You're the first. Juan admired her very much. At this time, she could show her uniqueness. I have never lost a bet, especially a bet about my own future. Sima Yue recovered her memory and was in a good mood. The burning pain in her body could be ignored. You are really reckless. Juan wanted to scold her, but when he saw the proud smile on her face, he could only swallow his words. Well, this is not the underworld. You don't have to always be so serious. Sima Yue said with a smile. Let me see your injuries. Juan said. Sima Yue stretched out her hand. Juan held her wrist, and a cold force entered her body. As soon as she came into contact with Juan's power, the surging blood calmed down, and the burning pain in the injured area also dissipated a lot. When Juan's power left her body, her injuries were almost healed. Thank you, Juan, Sima Yue said gratefully. Juan's mouth curved into a faint smile. By the way, Juan, have you been by my side all these years? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Did you kill the Dong family and the Double Fiend? Yes. I told you. How could they die for no reason? Sima Yue said. Those who disrespect the young miss deserve to die. Juan's eyes were filled with killing intent. If it weren't for the fact that killing the Wang Fei would cause Sima Yue more trouble, he would have already killed the Wang Fei and the others. Sima Yue felt that he was sincerely protecting her and smiled. Don't be angry. There are endless people like this. Well, let's not talk about this anymore. How is Ming? The king is very good, but he is very bored. In recent years, he has found something to do. Juan did not say that the king was very happy to see Wu Lingyu being tortured. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. It's rare to see him interested in something. Well, indeed. Juan agreed, but at the same time muttered in his heart, as long as it's related to you, the king is interested. Especially when it comes to abusing a man who makes him feel unbalanced. He is even more interested. What about the others? They are all good and they miss you very much. At the same time, they are very jealous of me. Juan said half-jokingly. If it weren't for the rule of not coming out without permission, they would have run out to find you. If they came out, the world would probably be in chaos. It's good that Ming set such a rule. Sima Yue pursed her lips and smiled. If you say that, everyone will be sad. Juan shrugged, very sympathetic to his friends. Okay, I clearly heard you laughing. Did I? Sima Yue did not admit it. It's rare for me to recover my memory. Let's go celebrate. Okay. Juan stepped forward and grabbed Sima Yue's body, opened a space channel, and walked in with Sima Yue. Little Black, who was playing by himself, was stunned for a moment when he saw Sima Yue disappear, but before the space channel closed, he also jumped in. "You won't leave me behind?" "No way." "Humph." In the suburbs, Sima Yue and Huang were lying on a hill, each holding a bottle of wine. "This wine is much better than the one in the underworld." "Is this the one you said you made yourself?" Sima Yue picked up the wine bottle and shook it, immersing herself in the memory that had just been unsealed. According to the route of the old ancestor, she went directly to the outside of Eternal Brilliant City, but when she opened her eyes, what she saw was a sea of Huahua. Chapter 1852. At that time, she didn't know that this flower was the Hell's Flower. She only felt that it was very charming. Mobile access, what flower is this? It's so captivating. She looked at the sea of flowers in front of her, not knowing how she had appeared here. "You're actually able to come here." A voice rang out behind her. She turned around and saw a faint figure. "Who are you?" she asked. The shadow approached her and sniffed her body, saying, "Primal Chaos Aura. You've been to the Primal Chaos world before. No wonder you can come here." Chaotic world? Sima Yue recalled that when she was in the academy, she had gone to a place called the Chaos world. In the end, she was brought out by Mo Sha. She had never entered that place again, nor had she come into contact with it again. She didn't expect that after so long, it would still affect her. Looking at the figure in front of her, she asked again, "Who are you? Where's this place?" The voice circled around her twice and said faintly, "Welcome to the Netherworld. I am the king of the Netherworld. Hades." "Nether King? Underworld? Am I not in the ghost realm? Why are you here?" She looked at the Netherworld King, a white and transparent figure. "You are the Netherworld King? Then do you know how to get to the ghost realm? You want to go to the ghost realm?" "Yes." She nodded. "Can you tell me how to get there?" "All the ghost clansmen are thinking of ways to come to the underworld, but you only want to go to the ghost world." The Netherworld King was amused by her request. "Do you know where this is?" Sima Yue felt that there was something wrong with his head. "Didn't you say that this is the underworld? Then do you know where the Netherworld is?" The Nether King asked again. "I don't know," Sima Yue answered honestly. "The skills used in the ghost realm are called underworld skills, and the spirit beasts are called underworld beasts. Tell me, where is the underworld?" "I think so." Sima Yue nodded. "But I still want to go to the ghost realm. In the underworld, you can cultivate pure underworld energy and quickly condense a true body. You can quickly become an expert." Ming said, "Don't you want to?" "Of course, but I still have to leave." Sima Yue said, "Could it be that what you want to do is more important than becoming stronger?" "Yes." "Tell me about it. If I'm satisfied, I might allow you to leave." Ming didn't believe that there was anything more important than becoming stronger. She felt that her thoughts were hard to understand. "I want to go to the ghost realm to save my mother," Sima Yue replied. "My mother is suppressed in the Avicii hell. I want to save her." "With your current strength?" Ming sized her up. "You're more like courting death." "I will become stronger." "Isn't it good to stay here and become stronger? Can I still leave after staying?" Once you start cultivating in the underworld, you will naturally be a member of the underworld. There are rules in the netherworld. No one is allowed to leave without permission. "That's it," Sima Yue shrugged. "I'm going to leave, so I can't stay here to cultivate. If you agree to cultivate here and I can still leave, I will cultivate here." Ming shook his head. "You can't cultivate. You can't leave while cultivating. So, why don't you tell me how to go to the ghost realm?" Sima Yue said, "I'll allow you to stay here for a while. If you still want to leave, then we'll talk about it." Ming floated in the air and looked straight at her. The smile on the corner of his mouth showed that he was in a good mood at the moment. After being alone for so many years, looking at those guys all the time, he was bored to death. Now that an outsider had finally come, he was like a child who had seen a toy. How could he let her leave like this? Although Sima Yue was in a hurry to leave, she didn't think that Ming's temperament was as harmless as his appearance. If she rejected him too much, she didn't know if he would suddenly become irritable and do something to her. Besides, she could also find out if the underworld was as good as he said. Thus she followed him. The two walked out of the sea of flowers. Sima Yue saw a few people guarding outside. King? Huan was surprised to see Ming appear with a woman. How long has it been since someone entered the underworld? And it was a woman. She looked at everyone without any excitement or fear. She was so calm that she didn't look like someone who had just arrived in the underworld. She suddenly appeared in the sea of flowers. Her soul had entered the chaos world before and was sucked in. Ming said as he looked at Sima Yue. By the way, what's your name? Sima Yue. Sima Yue retracted her gaze and replied, You can still come out after entering the chaos world? Zhu looked at Sima Yue suspiciously. She won't lie to you, right? Ming hit the flower stem in his hand on Zhu's head and shouted, Am I so stupid that I can't even tell this? King, you said before that people from other realms can't come out after entering the chaos world. She said that she had been to the chaos world, but did she really go there? Zhu muttered in a low voice. The others looked at him with pity. Sure enough, he was beaten again. Ming hit him several times with the flower stem and said, Why did I bring you to the underworld in the first place? I really regret my decision. King, you didn't bring me to the underworld. I was born and raised here. They were brought in by you. Zhu corrected him. Huan rubbed his forehead. This guy was here again. Every time he wanted to challenge the king's bottom line, why bother? Ming exploded and threw the flower in his hand to Huan. Then, he punched him until his face was bruised and swollen. How dare you refute what I said? Are you saying that I'm old and can't remember things? Next time, I'll sew your mouth shut. Sima Yue looked at the sudden change in Ming's style, and the corners of her mouth twitched. She looked at him sympathetically. This person had been lonely for a long time, right? That's why his personality was so changeable. TSK, how miserable. Ming turned his head and saw her sympathetic eyes. He was stunned for a moment. Sympathy? This person was sympathizing with him? What a joke. Was he someone who needed to be sympathized with? But why couldn't he be angry with her gaze? He seemed to have never been looked at like this before. Sympathy, it was a strange feeling. Huan saw his contradiction and returned the flower in his hand to him. He asked, King, is she going to stay in the underworld in the future? If she stayed, she would be one of them in the future. She said she wanted to go to the ghost world. I planned to let her stay here for a while and have a good understanding of the power of the underworld. She will know how wrong her decision was. Ming said. Sima Yue curled her lips. No matter how good this place was, it couldn't shake her heart to leave. Suddenly, a magnified face appeared in front of her. Ming's evildoer face was flawless. He saw through her thoughts and said with interest, You can leave if you want. As long as you make me happy, I'll tell you how to leave here. Chapter 1853. 1 second to remember, love divided by you. Reading book, web. Quick update. No pop-up window, free to read. Make him happy? How could this old monster be happy? Sima Yue felt a headache coming on. Your Majesty, where do you want to put her? Huan asked. Just put such a cute little pet in my courtyard. Ming reached out to stroke Sima Yue's hair. Sima Yue tilted her head to avoid his hand and said, Don't make yourself look like an old pervert. Old pervert. Not only Ming, but everyone present also widened their eyes. No one has ever dared to say that about me. Even your ancestors didn't dare. Ming's cold face was still a bit scary. Sima Yue stepped back and stared into his eyes. I'm telling the truth. I told you not to make yourself into an old pervert, but I didn't say you were. If you don't do those things, you won't be. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you in anger? You guys have been alone here for so many years, and finally there's an outsider. You won't kill me so easily, Sima Yue said confidently. You sure are confident. Ming retracted his anger and returned to his previous appearance. But Sima Yue could feel that his aura was much colder than before. Her words probably made him unhappy. I'll spare you this time. If you make me angry again, no matter who you are, no matter who your ancestors are, I'll kill you without hesitation. You know my ancestors? Sima Yue asked. The 9th Nether Clan, a clan second only to the underworld and the former ruler of the Ghost Realm. Ming said, The black lotus on your back is about to bloom. Sima Yue touched her back, and the black lotus on her back seemed to be faintly warm. He really is an old monster. I can't hide anything from him, she muttered in her heart. Don't slander me in your heart. Take her away. After saying this, Ming disappeared before everyone's eyes. Come with me. Huan turned to leave after saying this, and Sima Yue quickly followed him. What's your name? Huan. Which Huan? Tragic beyond compare. It's really special. Huan glanced at her and didn't say anything more. He took her to the palace not far away. Although it was called a palace, it did not look like one at all. On the contrary, it was pitifully small, with only a few courtyards. Even an ordinary family could have such a courtyard. Your king lives in such a small courtyard? Sima Yue asked. The king doesn't like to live in a place that's too big, Huan said. It makes him feel more lonely. Sima Yue nodded in agreement. When one was alone, if the house was big, it would indeed make one feel more lonely. Huan took her to the most remote courtyard, stood at the door of the courtyard and said, You live here. Sima Yue looked around. Fortunately, although the courtyard was small, it was a palace after all. The decorations inside were not bad. After saying that, Huan left without any more instructions. Sima Yue entered the courtyard, casually found a house to stay in, and began to think about today's events. Obviously, she was trapped here now. Because she didn't want to stay here, Hades became interested in her. It was as if he had found a toy. However, no matter how much she asked to leave now, he would not agree. So she could only stay now and think of other ways. Sigh, an old monster. How can I make him happy? She was a little frustrated. Generally, this kind of old monster who had lived for who knows how many years would have a strange temper. It was really difficult to make him happy. She had to find a right point. In the next few days, everyone seemed to have forgotten about her, and no one came to care about her at all. She wanted to leave, but was told that she could not leave without Hades's order. So she could only pass the time in the palace. It took her half a day to walk through all the palaces of Hades, and then she had nothing to do. The spirit pagoda was injured and sealed, and the other beasts were in a coma. Only Xiaohei and Mier were still awake. Mier was very interested in the underworld and secretly went outside to play, leaving her and Xiaohei in the palace. She played with Xiaohei for a while, and then she was bored again. She didn't know why Hades had locked her here. She looked around in the spirit pagoda and found that except for some ingredients, everything else was sealed, so she could only take out those ingredients to make something to eat. Fortunately, there were still backups in the space ring. But when the things were ready, she was worried again. Without a flame, how could she cook the rice? In the past, she used the flames of the beasts directly or the flames of spiritual power. Now that there was no spiritual power and the beasts were sleeping, there was no firewood in the spirit pagoda at all. After thinking about it, she went to find the guards and asked them to find some firewood for her. The guards hesitated for a moment and told Huan about this. When Huan brought the firewood over, she had already set up the temporary stove and was complaining to the ingredients. Didn't you say you were going to take me out to see how powerful the underworld is? In the end, there wasn't even a shadow. What do you want firewood for? He asked. Sima Yue was startled by him and turned around to glare at him. Don't talk behind other people's backs. It will scare people to death. She had no spiritual power now, and her spiritual power had also deteriorated, so she didn't notice that someone had come in. Coupled with Huan's strength, even she might not have been able to sense it in the past. Huan ignored her and looked at the stove she had set up and asked, What are you doing? What is it for? A temporary stove. For cooking. Sima Yue said, I haven't cooked with firewood for a long time. I don't know if my skills are still there. Just ask them to put it here for me. Huan glanced at the two guards, and they went up to put the firewood next to the stove, and then retreated. Sima Yue took a piece of firewood and stretched it in front of Huan, saying, Make a fire. Huan glanced at her and saw her clear eyes. He didn't know what she was thinking. Seeing Sima Yue stretch out her hand again, he glanced at the firewood, and the firewood lit up. Amazing. Sima Yue sighed, took the firewood to the stove, and then began to cook. Huan kept looking at her, watching her leisurely cook and stir-fry vegetables, humming a little tune, and from time to time teasing Little Black with meat. When she was done, she gave more than half of the food to Little Black. Seeing Juan still in the courtyard, she asked, "Do you want some? You spent so much energy just for this food." Juan stood still. "Your king won't come out, and I can't go out. If I don't find something for myself, I'll be bored to death." Sima Yue said, "Are you complaining about me?" Ming suddenly appeared in the courtyard, saw the dishes she was cooking, and said, "It seems that you're living a very comfortable life." It seemed that the method of ignoring her was useless. Originally, he thought that this would allow her to start cultivating, so that she wouldn't be able to leave. But now it seemed that she didn't take the bait. Chapter 1854. In 1 second, she remembered, love divided by you. Read book, web quick update. No pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue looked at him, raised the plate in her hand, and asked, "I don't dare to complain about you. Do you want some?" "What is this?" Ming asked. "It's food that I made." Sima Yue said, "I don't think you're interested in it. Little Black, you're not allowed to snatch it from me after you finish eating." Little Black, who was about to sneak an attack on her food, was caught and retracted its claws from the plate. Ming turned his gaze to Little Black, raised his eyebrows, and said, "You actually have a blood demon by your side?" TSK. It's a pity that it was struck by lightning and its strength was sealed. If it can eat a lot of medicinal herbs, it might be able to recover. "How much do you want?" "A lot." Ming smiled and said, "If you stay, I will provide you with endless medicinal herbs and guarantee that it will recover from its injuries." "How about that?" "If you want it, I can leave it to you. Anyway, I was forced to sign a contract at that time." Sima Yue said. Ming, Little Black, was heartbroken. It bit her skirt and whimpered, protesting her decision. "Useless." Mier came back from outside and couldn't help but roll his eyes when he saw Little Black like this. "What is this?" Ming looked at Mier. "You have a lot of natural things around you." TSK. You must be too lucky to die young." Sima Yue was surprised. He could tell, "If you follow me, you can travel through several realms. How about it? Are you tempted?" Ming tempted. Sima Yue saw that his words were full of temptation and was too lazy to talk to him anymore. She sat down at the table and picked up her chopsticks to start eating. But before she could eat, the plate in front of her disappeared. "I'll try it too." Ming sat down opposite her and took out his chopsticks to eat. Therefore, she, who had been working for a long time, didn't eat a single bite. After a certain someone finished eating, he took the towel from Juan and wiped his mouth and said, "It's barely satisfactory." She was so angry that she wanted to beat him up. However, when she thought about her own situation, she held herself back. "Since you're so bored here, I'll take you to the underworld." As soon as Ming finished speaking, Sima Yue felt as though she had been caught by something and disappeared from the spot. For the next few years, Ming had been taking her around the netherworld. Originally, he wanted to influence her to stay, but in the end, he was slowly influenced by her. Seeing that she was determined not to change her mind, he could only compromise and agree to let her leave. "How about we make a bet?" Ming asked. "What do you want to bet?" "You once said that you won't give up any part of your life. I will seal your memories of the underworld. If you can recover your memories within 10 years, I will not interfere with your life, nor will I force you to stay in the underworld. If you can't remember, then follow me back to the underworld. What do you think?" "All right, so straightforward. Don't you want to think about it?" "No need. I have confidence in myself." Sima Yue looked at him and said seriously, "I won't forget you, and I won't forget the underworld. Just like how I won't forget what I want to do." Ming grinned, but he wasn't happy. He felt lost. "If so, you should go." He reached out his hand to rub her head. A faint light locked her head. Before she woke up, he opened a space and pushed her in. Outside Great U City, Sima Yue and Juan were reminiscing about the underworld. It's King's regret that he couldn't change her mind, but he's a good old monster. He didn't force me. Sima Yue's feelings for Ming weren't shallow. Although I didn't cultivate in the underworld, that experience was very important to me. I'm glad to have met you guys. She raised her wine jug to Juan. Juan smiled and clinked his jug with hers. "All right, Did Ming ask you to send me the Pocket Universe box? Asked Sima Yue. Yeah, King knew that you would need it. I didn't know that before, but now I remember that it's also a divine weapon. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have had to look for a spatial artifact everywhere. Sima Yue said, but isn't it a bit too extravagant to use such a good thing for the Spirit Pagoda? Does King need you to save things for him? Juan asked back. That's true. Sima Yue suddenly figured it out. In that case, when my strength increases, I'll give it to Little Spirit. Okay, now that I've recovered my memory, are you going back? Sima Yue asked. No. King ordered me to protect you and always protect you. Juan said, then you'd better come out. You don't have to stay in the space all the time. Sima Yue said, okay. Juan wasn't a secret guard before. Of course, he was happy to follow her openly. This way, others would know that she had someone protecting her. The two chatted until it was dark. When they felt that someone was outside the enchantment she had set up, Juan took her back to the palace. Father, are you looking for me? They returned to the courtyard and saw Murong Hui knocking on the door. Aren't you inside? Who is this? Murong Hui saw Sima Yue appear behind him and Juan beside her. He looked at her worriedly. This is my friend Juan. I went out with him just now. Sima Yue said, Father, why are you looking for me? Nothing. I just heard from the guards in the palace that you haven't come out after treating Wang Ye's injuries, so I was a little worried about your situation. It's good to see that you're fine. Murong Hui didn't look at Juan too much, but he still reminded her, you're here in the palace. If you bring a friend in, you have to tell Wang Ye and the others. I know. I'll tell them in a while. Sima Yue nodded. Father, at last night's banquet, the princess didn't do anything to you, right? No. She was very disappointed when she knew that you didn't go. I think she must have arranged something, but it was disturbed by Wang Ye's matter. Murong Hui replied, Father, there's something I have to tell you. Sima Yue told her about how Huan killed the double fiend Black Shadow and exhorted. So, the princess consort must kill me now. You must be careful outside. It was also the first time Murong Hui heard about the killing of the twin demons of Black Shadow. After being surprised, he quickly calmed down and said, Don't worry, the region competition is not over yet. She won't do anything to me, and I'm afraid she doesn't have the intention to deal with us now. Has she decided to? Yes. Wang Ye has already received the news that the princess is preparing to take advantage of this incident to annihilate Wang Ye's forces in one fell swoop. So she is now deploying. Wasn't this your idea? Now, she has taken the bait. The princess is easy to get rid of, but the forces behind her are difficult. But this is for Wang Ye to worry about. We can just watch from the side. Sima Yue said with a smile. That smile was even unkind. Chapter 1855. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read book, web quick update. No pop-up window. Free to read. Sima Yue brought Huan to see Yu Yan. Second prince, this is my friend. He heard that I was in danger and came to protect me. Don't worry, he won't tell anyone about the prince's mansion. Sima Yue said. Yu Yan looked at Huan for a while and was a little surprised. He couldn't detect the other party's strength. He didn't think that Huan was a person without spiritual power, so there was only one explanation. His strength was much higher than his. That's good. The prince may not have time to take care of you later. Now that there is someone to protect you, it's safer for you to go out. I'll have someone arrange a courtyard for him. No need to go through so much trouble. He can live next door to me. Sima Yue said. Yu Yan only hesitated for 2 seconds before agreeing. He asked someone to tidy up the room next to Sima Yue. If it was someone else, he might have investigated further. But Sima Yue's identity was special. Not to mention that she was Yu Kuluo's daughter and the Ghost King's granddaughter. She was the only one who could cure his father. He couldn't make things unpleasant with her. Second prince, is the bathtub ready? We can start today's medicinal bath. Sima Yue said. It's ready, please. Yu Yan went in first, followed by Sima Yue and Huan. Sima Yue saw Du Wang Ye sitting up from the bed and introduced Huan after bowing. Du Wang Ye didn't object to Huan following her, but told Yu Yan to take good care of him. After that, Sima Yu placed the medicinal essence that she had already prepared into the bathtub, and the water turned green again. Wang Ye, please. Diyu Wang Ye took a deep breath, then took off his clothes with determination and sat down inside. Compared to the leisure in the courtyard, Diyu City was almost in a state of tension. The news of Diyu Wang Ye vomiting blood and fainting at the banquet spread throughout the city that night. The people of the Qin Wang faction were worried about Wang Ye's safety, but there was no news at all. They were very anxious. As for the others, they were in a much better mood. Many people went to the princess consort, saying that the time had come and they could make their move. The princess consort was a little hesitant. She didn't know if the time had come. Imperial Mother, I feel that it's better to send someone to investigate before making further plans. Yu Qi said, what's there to investigate? Imperial Father has been taking forbidden medicine for such a long time, and his body has long been depleted. Right now, it's just earlier than we expected. Seventh Imperial Brother, don't be so timid. This is not the style of a man. Yulu's fat jiggled as he waved his hand. Royal Brother, if this is just a scheme devised by Royal Father, then it will only be disadvantageous for us if we rashly plan ahead, Yu Qi explained. How can Royal Father devise a scheme when he's already in this state? If Royal Father wanted to do something, he would have done it long ago. Why would he wait until his body is in this state? Yulu scoffed at his words, thinking that he was thinking too much. However, Yu Qi didn't think so. He felt that it was better to be careful. Moreover, he couldn't reason with this fool. He turned his gaze to the princess consort and said, Imperial Mother, what do you think? The princess consort leaned against the chaise lounge and supported her chin with one hand, thinking about the possibility of this matter. Someone come. She called outside, and someone immediately came in. Princess consort, send someone to investigate the courtyard and see how Wang Ye is doing. The princess consort ordered. Yes, princess consort. The person received the order and left. Yulu wanted to say that there was no need, but he didn't dare to refute the princess consort's intentions. Yu Qi smiled. The more cautious the princess consort was, the more likely their plan would succeed. All right, you can leave first. The princess consort waved her hand and chased everyone out of the room. After a while, someone appeared in her room. When she saw the person, she smiled charmingly. Why did you take so long? I missed you so much. Recently, the higher-ups gave me a mission and I was very busy. If I hadn't snatched this mission, I wouldn't have been able to come. The man went forward and pressed her down. You missed me? Where did you miss me? Above or below? You're bad. The princess consort pinched him shyly. Let's talk about business first. Wang Ye this time, oh. We'll talk about business later. The higher-ups did give you an order, but there's no rush. Let's do business first. You're so annoying. The room was charming and gentle, but no one outside the room knew. After a while, the princess consort leaned against the man and said, What did the higher-ups say? They want you to confirm the situation of Diyu and Wang Ye. If the situation is true, we can bring forward the plan. The man said, Needless to say, I've already sent someone to investigate. As long as the situation is true, we can pull out all the forces under him. However, I feel that everything is too easy. I don't believe it. The princess consort replied, How is it easy? You've been planning for this day for many years. Just the fact that he took the forbidden medicine is enough to make it impossible for him to be better. All these years of hard work will not be in vain. The man comforted. Are you sure he took the forbidden medicine? I'm sure of it. I personally found those medicines and saw him take them with my own eyes. Although he slowly stopped taking them later, the ones he took were enough. The princess consort said with certainty. Then there's no problem. With the effects of the forbidden medicine, he can't be pretending for so many years. Although the time of the illness this time is a little earlier than expected, it's not impossible. That's true, but it's better to be safe. The princess consort said, I've sent someone to the courtyard to investigate and confirm the situation. Well, you've always been reliable, which is why the higher-ups handed such an important matter to you. Since the person investigating the news hasn't returned yet, why don't we do it again? No. The princess consort's protest turned into a soft gasp, and the room was once again filled with endless scenery. In the courtyard of the prince's residence, Sima Yue was giving Wang Ye a medicinal bath. Huan came to her side and said a few words to her, causing her face to darken. A moment later, cough, cough. Father, father, how are you? Wang Ye the Great was lying on the bed, vomiting blood from his mouth. Yuan was lying by the bed, looking at him anxiously. Dr. Hao, quickly take a look. Why is father vomiting blood again? Didn't you say that taking that pill would guarantee that father would no longer vomit blood? He vented his anger on Dr. Hao, who was beside him. Second prince, please calm down. Wang Ye's body has been damaged too much by the forbidden medicine, and his internal organs have almost been corroded. Previously, Wang Ye used his spiritual power to suppress it. Now that he's unconscious and his spiritual power is out of control, naturally. Chapter 1856. In 1 second, she remembered love divided by you. Read book, web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Dr. Hao's words made the faces of the people in the room gloomy. Forbidden medicine. Forbidden medicine. I told you not to take forbidden medicine, but you didn't listen. Now, father is going to die from the effects of forbidden medicine. Yu Yan roared. All the doctors in the room lowered their heads. What should we do now? Father can't keep vomiting blood like this. If this continues, father will. Yu Yan's eyes turned red. He suppressed the anger and sadness in his heart, making his weak body tremble uncontrollably. Second prince, the medicine that Wang Ye just took can temporarily stop Wang Ye from vomiting blood, but there is no way to treat his injury. I think it's better to inform the princess consort and the others as soon as possible. Dr. Hao suggested. Is there really no other way? Yu Yan asked. Now, even if the Ghost King's imperial doctor comes, there is no way to save him. Dr. Hao said. When Yu Yan heard this, his body swayed, and the servant beside him immediately stepped forward to support him. Second prince, how are you? Yu Yan waved his hand, indicating that he was fine. Second prince, should we inform the princess consort and the other princes about this? Dr. Hao asked. No, this news can't be spread. Yu Yan shouted. Whoever dares to spread this news, I will not spare him. Second prince, everyone was frightened by his sudden momentum. Second prince, if Wang Ye really can't make it, is it okay not to say anything? Someone asked. The princess consort has always had bad intentions. If she knows about father's current situation, she will definitely take the opportunity to seize power. Yu Yan said, we must be prepared before we can release the news. Then, will the county competition in 2 days still be held? It will be held as scheduled. Yes. Since he had said so, what else could they say? He was the most powerful here. While they were discussing, a black shadow flew out of the courtyard. Yu Yan came outside the room and looked in the direction of the black shadow with his hands behind his back. Sima Yue and Huan came out of another room. Yu Yan turned around and said gratefully, I really have to thank you this time. If you hadn't told us in advance, we wouldn't have been able to beat them at their own game. This was also discovered by Huan. Sima Yue smiled at Huan. The person they sent this time is the #1 hidden guard. If we didn't pay attention in advance, our guards wouldn't have noticed him at all. Once the princess consort discovers the truth, all our previous efforts will be in vain. Thank you, Huan. Huan just nodded faintly. He just wanted to help Sima Yue, not to you and Wang Ye. Don't be in such a hurry to thank me. Let me tell you another piece of news. You can thank me after you hear it, Sima Yue said. Yu Yan raised his eyebrows. More news? The princess's adulterer is here, Sima Yue said. What? Adulterer? Yu Yan was shocked by her words and stared at her with wide eyes. Yes, you didn't know? I thought you knew. Sima Yue said, it was just a while ago, so we don't know who it is. How did you know? I have my sources, Sima Yue said. Her scarlet bees have been staying in the prince's mansion, especially closely monitoring the princess consort's every move. So when the princess consort and that man were having sex, they didn't notice that there was a little bee peeping on the beam. Is there anything else? Yu Yan sorted out his feelings. Because he didn't get along with the princess consort, He didn't feel hurt by this news, but he was very surprised. He seems to have something to do with the power behind the princess consort. He said that if the situation is true, he will take action in advance. Sima Yue said, but he didn't say if he will send help. How about it? Are you ready? We're just waiting for them to take action. Yu Yin chuckled. They have been waiting for this day for a long time. When will they take action? I think it will probably be in the next 2 days. The region competition will be a good opportunity. Yu Yin said. Then won't the region competition be ruined? No, neither father nor the princess consort will want to interrupt this competition. Yu Yin said. Then I'll just focus on the competition and the medicinal bath for father in the next 2 days. Don't worry. After tomorrow, his body will be much better. Sima Yue turned and left. Huan also left with her. For the next 2 days, she still gave Yu Wangya a medicinal bath every day, but there were more medicinal pills than before. After taking this medicinal pill, your condition will be stable for the next 2 days. As long as you don't leave yourself with only one breath, there won't be a big problem. But try not to use your spiritual power as much as possible. After all, it will hurt your body. Sima Yue reminded, the real boss doesn't have to do it personally. I know, Yu Wangye replied. I will try not to do it myself. It's good that you know. Sima Yue said, if there is trouble later, I will charge you more for treatment. Okay. By the time he finished the medicinal bath, it was already dark. She also gave him an injection during the medicinal bath, then packed up her things and returned to the inn with Huan. The people of Vast Region were surprised by the sudden appearance of Huan. Why did she bring back a man after not seeing her for a few days? Why did you bring back a man after being missing for a few days? Lang Yu walked around Huan twice. His surprised look made Sima Yue roll her eyes at him. Can't you talk properly? I'm talking properly. Lang Yu touched his chin and looked at Huan. Why do I feel that your friend is a bit mysterious? Sima Yue rubbed her eyebrows and said, Huan, if you want to teach him a lesson, I'm very much in favor of it. As long as you don't kill him. Huan nodded at her and suddenly appeared behind Lang Yu. He grabbed him and disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. That speed made Yushi unable to react at all. Sima Yue saw Yushi frowning and said, Don't worry, Huan has a sense of propriety. Why are there so many strange people around you? Yushi said, Your mother was not as popular as you were back then. Mother will be proud of me. Sima Yue smiled. Are you ready for tomorrow's game? Yushi asked. I'm ready. There are only more than 600 people left, and they're basically all powerful people. Although you have the Black Dragon, it is not fully grown up yet, and there's no lack of powerful mythological beasts among those geniuses. I know, but I promised Emoji that I would enter the top 10, so I will definitely enter. Sima Yue said confidently. Until now, no one has seen you fight, except for your space blockade. I'm very curious about your own strength. Sima Yue smiled mysteriously at him. You'll know when the game starts. Chapter 1857. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read book, webno pop-up windows, free to read. Sima Yue returned to her room, and not long after, Huan also came back. How was it? She asked. It's been solved. Huan nodded at her. He believed that when Lang Yu saw him in the future, he would be very, very obedient. I've arranged a room for you, right next to me. You don't have any objections, do you? Sima Yue asked. Just right. Huan was very satisfied with this arrangement. Then go and rest. The competition will start early tomorrow morning. Do you want me to take you to your room? Sima Yue asked. No need. When I was following you, I'd already figured out the situation around you. Huan said, Well, good night. Sima Yue returned to her room, went to the spirit pagoda to take a bath, and fell asleep comfortably. On the other side of the inn, Lang Yu was gritting his teeth and shouting, What is the origin of this Huan? I didn't see what he used at all, and he beat me up like this. This guy is really vicious. You should be glad that he only used his hands. She applied medicine to him. If he used his spiritual power, you wouldn't be like this. Can you tell where he came from? Hiss, be gentle. Lang Yu cried out in pain. Who told you to talk nonsense? Even if he didn't beat you up, I would have dealt with you. Yushi said, well, I really shouldn't have said that, but I was just joking. And I also want to try to find out his details. Who knew that he was so powerful? Lang Yu's mouth twitched. How long has Sima Yue been in the ghost realm? How can there be such a powerful person protecting her? And this person's aura is a bit strange. She said as he applied medicine. I don't know how she knew him, since the other party said that he was here to protect her. At present, he is not an enemy. Lang Yu said. Yushi stared at him without speaking, and the silence made him feel a headache. I sacrificed myself for us. He is not an enemy. As long as she's in the middle, it doesn't count. Yushi's words made him heave a sigh of relief. He really didn't want to be enemies with such a powerful person. He had a feeling that Huan was so powerful that he could get rid of him in minutes. It hurts so much. You have to compensate me. I didn't tell you to do that. You can't burn the bridge after crossing it. Is there a bridge? Early the next morning, Sima Yue took Fang Yinghan and the others to the competition venue. Murong Hui disappeared in the middle of the night, and the students who did not participate in the competition did not come to watch this time. It wasn't just their county that was like this. The situation was similar in other counties as well, so there were very few people watching today's competition. Looking at the situation, he knew that something was going to happen today. When the competition started, no one from the prince's mansion came. Only the host and the referees were there. Contestants, please step forward and draw your number. The host didn't even make any opening remarks. He directly asked the contestants to draw their numbers and take their tokens. Because it was an elite competition now, the number of people entering each time was reduced from 100 to 50 groups to make it easier for the people outside to watch. Out of the 304 groups, Sima Yue drew the last group and could only go on stage last. Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingdao were in the first group to go on stage. They were numbered 25 and 40 respectively. With the medicinal pills and one-time use arrays given by Sima Yue, both of them advanced to the next round. Not bad. Sima Yue smiled at the two of them. It's all thanks to Miss that we were able to advance. Zhang Mingda looked at Sima Yue gratefully. If they won this competition, they would advance to the top 300. With this ranking, they would be able to receive great training from the dynasty. Their future achievements were self-evident. If they could advance, then there was no need to talk about it. However, in the face of so many masters, they had no hope of advancing in the next round. With their current results, they were already very satisfied. Go and rest and heal your injuries. Sima Yue nodded at them and didn't say much. Both Zhang Mingda and Fang Yinghan could see that her state today was a little erratic, so they obediently returned to their seats, took the medicinal pills, and watched the competition while healing their injuries. Yuan Yin and Mo Ji didn't come, and Lang Yu didn't come because of his bruised face. Only Yushi and Huan accompanied her. However, they all saw that she was a little uneasy. It'll be fine, Yushi said. With your father's strength, he shouldn't be sent to the front line. Are you comforting me? Sima Yue was speechless, although Dad's strength is not very strong. He is also a core member of Wangya. It'll be fine. Huan also comforted her. None of these dukes came today. I think they either followed Princess Consort and the others, or went with Prince and the others. Sima Yue sighed. I can only say that the people who compete here are lucky because they don't have to face today's events. It was the first time she saw Sima Yue so sad, and he didn't like it. Instead, he said, I don't know if you will meet a strong opponent in today's competition. I'm still waiting to see your strength. Do you believe my words so much? What if I'm just bragging? Sima Yue turned her head and asked him. Yushi chuckled. Are you? Sima Yue pouted. His reaction was really not funny. I hope I won't meet a very powerful one today. That depends on your luck. Practice proved that her luck was really good. Although the strength of the people she met this time was good, it was not to the point where she had to take action. However, the other party also had a more powerful spirit beast. So, Sima Yue called out Xiao He. At first, when they saw Xiao He, who had no spiritual power, everyone thought that Sima Yue was at her wit's end, so she used a useless underworld dog to make up the numbers. However, after seeing Xiao Hei's speed, they were all stunned. Sure enough, there were no ordinary underworld beasts here. Sima Yue came down and saw Yu Shi's speechless expression. She pursed her lips and smiled. "I'm so sorry, I didn't show you my strength again, uncle." Yu Shi raised his eyebrows. "You'll see it eventually. It's already late. Those things should have been settled by now." Sima Yue looked at the distant sky. "Who do you think won?" Yu Shi asked. "Do I even need to ask?" "I have confidence in my father," Sima Yue said. "You already knew the result?" "I said before, I have sources of information." Sima Yue said, "The things outside have just ended. We can go back." At this time, some guards ran in from outside, and the contestants who were about to leave all stopped. "What's going on?" Some people did not know what was going on, but Sima Yue and the rest knew what was going on. Therefore, they were not surprised at all when they saw the guards leading the contestants away. Chapter 1858. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read book, Webno pop-up window, free to read. Looking at the people who were taken away, they were even more certain of their guess. The princess and her child had failed. After the guards left, Fang Yinghan said to Sima Yue, "Let's go back." Sima Yue nodded. She had just taken a few steps when her expression suddenly changed. She said to Yu Shi, "Uncle, please take them back." "What's wrong?" "I have something to do." "Uncle, I'm counting on you." Sima Yue disappeared after speaking. Yu Shi and Huan didn't expect her to disappear so suddenly. They were stunned for a moment, and then Huan also left. Although Yu Shi was curious about what she had to do, when he saw Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingda, he gave up the idea of chasing after them. He couldn't ignore what she had asked him to do. "Miss just disappear like that, right?" Zhang Mingda pulled Fang Yinghan's hand and looked at the place where Sima Yue was standing just now in surprise. "I didn't expect Miss to be so powerful." Fang Yinghan was also shocked by Sima Yue's strength. "Let's go. I'll take you back first." Yu Shi turned around and left first. At the same time, he muttered in his heart, "This girl doesn't show off, but when she does, it's amazing." "Really?" Before Sima Yue reached her destination, Huan caught up with her. The two didn't speak in the space, and she took him directly to the 7th prince's residence. It wasn't over yet. The 7th prince, Yu Qi, was still stubbornly resisting with his men. Yu Yin surrounded the 7th prince's residence with his men and forced them to the backyard step by step. There was no way to retreat, and the two sides were in a stalemate. "7th prince, you have no way out. Surrender obediently." Yu Yin came to the front of the team and faced Yu Qi. Seeing Yu Yin return to normal, Yu Qi snorted coldly. "I didn't expect that the person who hid the deepest was you. After so many years, you are the one who hid your strength. Am I not forced by you?" Yu Yin flicked his sleeves. "If I didn't show weakness, I'm afraid I would have followed my mother." "Can he still be alive?" Using your own body as a stake. You are also a heartless person. Imperial Father knew about it long ago, but he hid it from everyone with you. Everyone says that he favors little brother the most, but it seems that little brother is just a cover for him. He has long wanted to pass the throne to you. If you were loyal to Imperial Father, he wouldn't have given up on you. But your heart is not with him at all." Yu Yin said, "Ha ha ha. Of course my heart isn't with him. He is not my father. He knows this. So, in his heart, he has never thought of letting me inherit the throne. Since that's the case, I will naturally seek a throne for myself." "What's wrong with that?" Tell me, what did I do wrong? Looks like you already knew." Yu Yin said, "Then you should know that the princess consort and your biological father have already been arrested. You'd better surrender." "Surrender without a fight?" "Second Imperial brother, do you think I'm stupid or that you're too childish?" Yu Qi laughed sinisterly. "As long as I surrender, I won't be far from death. I'm not that stupid. Even if you resist stubbornly, you won't be able to escape. If you continue, you'll only end up dying immediately." Yu Yin said, "In view of our many years of brotherhood, I suggest you don't do this. If you want to kill me, you're not enough." Yu Qi shouted, "I will definitely escape." "Escape? Just you?" Xiao Ruobai opened the door and it came out from inside. Immediately, someone's attention was locked on her. Ruobai, I'm here to take you away. Yuqi walked to Xiao Ruobai's side, looking affectionate as if it was real. Are you here to take me away? Xiao Ruobai sneered. Of course I'm here to take you away. Yuqi looked at her. Although it's more difficult, we can still leave. But I don't want to leave with you. Xiao Ruobai said, I shouldn't be here. No, you have to come with me. Ruobai, you have no choice. Yuqi looked at her, not giving her a chance to refuse. Xiao Ruobai looked back at him. We know what you want. I won't go with you. Yuqi took out a long sword, put it on her neck, and said, I'm not a patient person. Ruobai, you know me. If you don't come with me today, then I can only send you away first. Then come. Xiao Ruobai was not afraid at all. The Xiao family was destroyed, and I have been living an ignoble existence for the past 2 years. If I can go to them today, it will be a good thing. Living an ignoble existence? When Yu Yan heard her say this, he suddenly laughed. In order to save you, I spent so much effort, and you actually said that. You're still so good at flaunting yourself. But isn't this you? Xiao Ruobai raised her chin. If you want to do it, then come. Seventh Prince, we can't delay any longer. The people behind emerged. Yuqi also knew that time waited for no one. Looking at Xiao Ruobai's face without any reluctance, he finally waved the sword in his hand. Whoosh! A small stone knocked away Yuqi's sword. He quickly reacted, pulled Xiao Ruobai, and grabbed her neck with his hand. Everyone looked at the power just now, and Sima Yue and Huan slowly appeared. It's you? Yuqi looked at her in surprise. He didn't expect her to come here. When Xiao Ruobai saw her, her eyes flashed, but in the end, she didn't say anything. Chi'er, why are you here? Yuyan was also surprised by Sima Yue's appearance. I'm here to pick up Ruobai. Sima Yue said. Yuqi lowered his head and bit Xiao Ruobai's ear. Hee, it seems that your enemy still bills herself as your friend. She still wants to save you. Xiao Ruobai looked at Sima Yue and didn't say anything. Second brother, I know that Murong Hui and Murong Shi are both your people. Why don't we make an exchange? I'll give you Xiao Ruobai, and you let me leave. How about it? Yuqi asked. Yuyan glanced at Sima Yue. With just one glance, Yuqi knew what was going on. It seems that Murong Shi has a high status in Yu Yan's heart, and she values Xiao Ruobai very much. So, Xiao Ruobai is his bargaining chip today. Sima Yue saw through his thoughts and said, You want her to be a bargaining chip? Yes. How about it, Murong Shi? If you want Ruobai to live, you have to let us out. I know that the person beside you is very strong. As long as you want, you can get her. Don't try to play tricks. I can take her life in an instant. Do you think you have the qualifications to negotiate with us? You want to kill Ruobai? As soon as her voice fell, she appeared in front of Yuqi and grabbed his hand that was holding Xiao Ruobai without warning. Chapter 1859. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read book, webno pop-up window, free to read. Yuqi had no time to react. He felt his wrist go numb, and then the person disappeared. He held his arm with his other hand, and only then did he see that there was an embroidery needle on his wrist. He pulled out forcefully, and his numb wrist recovered. At this time, Sima Yue had returned to the air with Xiao Ruobai. How about it? I said, You are not qualified to threaten me. Sima Yue said, Second Prince, you don't have to worry about me in the future. Go. Yu Yan waved his hand, and the people behind him attacked Yuqi and the others. Huan, sorry to trouble you. Sima Yue looked at Huan, and he understood what she meant. With a wave of his hand, the entire space was sealed by him. So, when Yuqi and the others tried to tear the space to escape, they found that the space could no longer be opened. In the end, Yuqi refused to surrender and was killed by Yu Yan. His followers were all killed. Chi'er, I have to report to my father, so I'll leave first. Be careful. Yu Yan finished speaking and left with a few people, while the others stayed to control the people in the seventh prince's residence. I won't be grateful to you. Xiao Ruabai said, I don't want you to be grateful. Sima Yue said, however, I am very grateful to you for not telling Yu Qi my identity before. Xiao Ruabai looked into the distance and said, I'm just keeping my promise, not for you. The result is the same. Sima Yue said, the Murong family destroyed my Xiao family, and you saved my life today. From now on, we don't owe each other anything. Don't come to me again, and I won't come to you again. Goodbye. Xiao Ruabai turned and left. Sima Yue watched her go further and further away, but did not chase after her. Aren't you going to chase her? Huan asked. He had been following Sima Yue all the time, so he naturally knew the little things between her and Xiao Ruabai, and knew her feelings for Xiao Ruabai. I'm not going. Sima Yue shook her head. It's not suitable for me to chase after her now. That would make her feel bad. Aren't you worried about her? I have already informed Gongzi Yuan. He will take care of her. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Let's go back. She looked at the prince's mansion that had been turned into ruins because of the battle just now, and her body slowly disappeared into the space. Huan also left with her. Back at the inn, Murong Hui and the others had not returned, and the whole courtyard was deserted. When Yushi saw her, he wanted to ask her about her disappearing hand, but seeing that she was not in good spirits, he did not disturb her. When Sima Yue saw him, she nodded at him and entered the house. When Lang Yu saw her so listless, he blinked and said, What's wrong with her? Why do you look like you've been abused? You must have something on your mind. After getting along with her for a few days, he had a preliminary understanding of her. What did you see today? It's just like that. At first, the princess and the others were all fine, and victory was in their hands. When Wang Ye came out, the situation was completely reversed. He was not his last breath, like the rumors said. Instead, he was in high spirits. At first glance, his spirit was very good. I'm thinking, when we saw him, was he pretending? Lang Yu was a little doubtful. Didn't you check him? Can he hide it from you? When I checked him at that time, his body was indeed in a serious deficit, and he couldn't pretend so well. Lang Yu said. In other words, he was cured during this period of time. Yushi said affirmatively. His body was beyond treatment at that time. It was so powerful that he could recover so quickly. Lang Yu suddenly paused and looked at Sima Yue's room in disbelief. Could it be her? Yushi did not speak, but he also guessed so in his heart. My God, if that's the case, then her medical skills are much more powerful than we thought before. Lang Yu licked his lips. This girl hid deeper than we thought. It's indeed much deeper. Yushi said, I'm looking forward to seeing her match in the competition and forcing her to use her spiritual power. I'm also looking forward to it, but it's unlikely. Lang Yu became a little disappointed when he said this. What's wrong? During the day, we received news that the king gave us a task. We have to do it in 2 days, and we won't even be able to see the next promotion. Lang Yu said, How long have we rested? Another task. We haven't rested enough yet. This task is really... Yushi was also a little speechless. If it was in the past, the two of them would not be like this, but now that they were finally interested in something, they had to leave. This was not a good feeling. Forget it. We have to leave sooner or later. The things here are almost done, so it's better to leave now. Yushi went to find Sima Yue and told her that they were leaving. Sima Yue was slightly surprised to hear that they were leaving, and then she replied, Since it's a task given to you by the Ghost King, you naturally have to deal with it. Sheer, aren't you reluctant to part with us? Lang Yu was unhappy. He was very reluctant to part with her. Sima Yue twitched the corner of her mouth and said, Yes, I'm very reluctant to part with you. But aren't you going to do something? Business is more important. Anyway, it's not like we won't have a chance to see each other later. Maybe we'll meet in the capital soon. Then we'll wait for you in the capital. Come early. Lang Yu began to look forward to it again. If she went to the capital, who knew what kind of storm she would stir up? Yushi was much more straightforward. After telling her that if there was any danger, she could report his name, and then left with Lang Yu. Without the two people, especially without Lang Yu, who often chattered in her ear, she felt a lot quieter. If Lang Yu knew what she was thinking, his heart would be broken again. That night, Murong Hui and the people from Vast Region did not come back. The next morning, the people from Vast Region came back, but Murong Hui still did not come back. Sima Yue saw that nearly one-third of the team was missing and said, "Thank you for your hard work. Go have a good rest and heal your injuries. There shouldn't be anything else after this." Yes, Mississippi, everyone was indeed tired. In addition, they lost one-third of their companions and were in a bad mood, so they went back to rest. "Miss, why hasn't the Duke come back yet?" Zhang Mingda asked. "Wang Ye left him to deal with some things." "Don't worry, father is fine. He will be back in 2 days." Sima Yue comforted the two. 2 days later, Murong Hui still did not come back, but the guards of the Wang Fu came to pick her up. Sima Yue looked at the people in the inn, nodded, and left with the two people. After a while, another guard of the Wang Fu came over and said that he wanted to pick her up. The atmosphere in the inn suddenly fell to the freezing point. Chapter 1860. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read book, web quick update. No pop-up window, free to read. "You said you came to take her to the Wang Mansion?" Fang Yinghan asked. One of the guards took out the Wang Mansion's token to show his identity. Fang Yinghan looked at it and confirmed that it was the Wang Mansion's token. "May I ask where Miss Murong Shi is?" Another guard asked. "Just now. 2 people wearing the same clothes as you came and said they would take her to the Wang Mansion. She followed them." Zhang Mingda said. "What? Wang Ye only sent the 2 of us, no one else." The guard shouted. "Are those people really the Wang Mansion's guards?" "This is bad. Those people are not from the Wang Mansion." Zhang Mingda shouted. "Miss left with them. Will she be in danger? Let's go find Miss." The people from Vast Region stood up. "Don't panic, I think Miss already knows." Fang Yinghan was the calmest among them. "Miss knows?" "Yes. I didn't notice before, but now that I think about it, Miss glanced at us before she left. At that time, she should have already discovered that those 2 people were not from the Wang Mansion." Fang Yinghan recalled Sima Yoyue's gaze. Thinking about it now, her gaze was indeed a bit strange. So, Miss knew that those 2 people were fake, but she still followed them? Why? Miss should have exposed them. Zhang Mingda said. Could it be that those 2 people are too strong? If she exposed them, perhaps it would bring you danger? The Wang Mansion's guard guessed. So, for our safety, Miss put herself in danger. The people from Vast Region were moved. Miss was too good to them. If anything happens to Miss, we will be sinners. Miss, let's go find Miss. Don't panic. I think Miss knows what she is doing. Fang Yinghan said, but we still have to find Miss as soon as possible. We will report to Wang Ye. The 2 guards hurriedly left to tell the news to Dayu Wang Ye. Just as the people from Vast Region were about to leave, a scarlet bee flew back and stopped in front of Fang Yinghan. "This is Mrs. B." Zhang Mingdao recognized the scarlet bee. Could it be that Miss sent you to deliver a message to us? At this moment, the scarlet bee nodded, as if agreeing with his words. "It's true. Then where is Miss now? Can you take us there?" Fang Yinghan asked. Scarlet bee shook his head. "You can't take us there?" Fang Yinghan asked. The scarlet bee nodded. "Miss doesn't want us to look for her?" The scarlet bee nodded. Everyone looked at each other. She didn't want them to look for her. Young Miss must have guessed that we would look for her, so she sent the scarlet bees to stop us. Zhang Mingda said, "Little bee, it's fine if you don't want to take us. But tell us, is Miss in danger now?" Scarlet bee shook his head. Seeing this, everyone's worried hearts were finally at ease. Since Miss sent the bees back to report that she is safe, then there should be no problem. Miss was very capable. She must have her reasons for doing so. Then let's not disrupt Miss's plans. Fang Yinghan said. Scarlet bee nodded again. Then let's go and tell the Duke, lest they worry. Zhang Mingda said. Scarlet bee nodded again, then flew away. It seems that Miss meant to tell us not to look for her, and to tell the Duke this news. Fang Yinghan said. Then let's go now. Zhang Mingda suggested. We don't know where Miss is now, and who took her away. After Sima Yue left with the 2 of them, they did not walk towards the Duke's palace. Instead, they walked out of the city. Aren't we going to see Wang Ye? Why are we walking out of the imperial city? Sima Yue asked the two of them. Miss, Wang Ye and the Duke are outside the city. The guard said, Do you think I'm stupid? How could Wang Ye and my father be outside the city? Who are you? Sima Yue stopped, unwilling to continue walking. You found out, but you don't have a choice now. One of the guards said, Are you going to follow us obediently, or are you going to be tied up by us? Sima Yue looked at the two of them, her hands behind her back. Don't try to resist. We know you have the Black Dragon, but since we dared to come, it means that we have the ability to deal with it. Resisting will not do you any good. The other guard threatened. If you resist, the people guarding outside the inn will kill all the people in vast region. I think you don't want anything to happen to them, right? Sima Yue looked at the two of them angrily, but in view of the current situation, she suppressed her anger and said, Okay, I'll go with you. That's right. Let's go, my master wants to see you. Sima Yue followed them and continued to walk out of the city. She stretched out her index finger behind her back and waved it, indicating to Huan that they should not act rashly. At the same time, she ordered Scarlet Bee to keep the people in the inn safe. She really wanted to know who would pay attention to her at this time. She counted with her fingers. It couldn't be the princess consort. She had already been caught at this time. It was also impossible for it to be the princes. They had such powerful people, they would have taken them out long ago. As for Emoji, Yushi, and the others, it was impossible for them to do such a boring thing. Besides them, who else would pay attention to her? The two fake guards took her out of the city and went all the way to an inconspicuous courtyard on the outskirts. The two guards took her in, and as soon as she entered the courtyard, she found that there were many experts here. Many people locked their attention on her. It seemed that the background of the people waiting here was not ordinary. A maid came over, and when she saw Sima Yue, she said with a cold face, Go in, my master is waiting for you. Sima Yue followed her into an exquisite small courtyard at the back and saw the back of a person sitting in a wheelchair. Similar back view, similar silence. At that moment, she thought she saw Xianxiohe. However, the other party quickly broke her illusion. He turned around and looked at Sima Yue. His indifferent and handsome face did not have the gentleness that Xianxiohe gave people. Miss Morong, hello. I'm sorry to have taken the liberty to invite you here. I hope I didn't scare you. The man said, To be honest, you did scare me. Sima Yue said, But I don't think you care about my little mood. The man smiled slightly. He really didn't care. Who are you? Why did you bring me here? Sima Yue asked. I heard that Miss Morong is very smart. Why don't you guess why I invited you here? The man waved his hand. The space ring on his hand was very simple. Sima Yue shrugged. I don't like to stand and talk to people. Chapter 1861. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Reading book, webno pop-up window, free to read. The man moved his fingers, and someone immediately brought a chair over for Sima Yue. Sima Yue sat down and faced the man. She straightened her skirt before looking at the other party and faintly saying, I only came from a small place. How could I guess where a great Buddha like you came from? Why don't you tell me your name and why you've captured me here? If you're here to threaten Wang Ye, then you've got the wrong person. I'm just a nobody. I'm not that useful. The man chuckled. If you're a nobody, would you believe your own words? Of course I would. Sima Yue nodded seriously. Wasn't there a saying that if you want others to believe, you have to believe yourself first? If you're a nobody, you can easily kill the head of the Shao family. If you were a nobody, you would have been able to cure the prince of Great Yu's injury that had been dragging on for decades. If you're a nobody, you can make the Black Dragon submit to you? Tell me, are you a nobody? The man asked. Sima Yue's smile did not fade, but her heart was in turmoil. This man knew everything. Since he was so sure, she did not have to pretend to be a fool. She shrugged. Since you know everything, it seems like you've investigated me. You know everything about me, but I don't know who you are. Isn't this a little unfair? I spent a lot of effort to investigate you. The man said, If you want to know who I am, do you have to give me something in exchange? I don't have anything in exchange. If you're willing to tell me, then tell me. If you're not, then forget it. Sima Yue leaned against the back of the chair. How boring. I thought you would guess. The man said, this world is so big, and there are so many capable people. How can I know everyone? Sima Yue said, no, with your intelligence, you'll be able to guess. It's just that you're not interested in guessing with me. The man said, perhaps I should do something to pique your interest. Look who that is. Sima Yue looked in the direction he was pointing at and saw a few guards bringing two people out. She squinted her eyes. What do you mean? She asked. I heard that the two of them are your good friends. In order to invite you over, I invited them over first. The man said, Xia, were you captured too? Gongzi Yuan shouted anxiously when he saw Sima Yue. Are you guys all right? Sima Yue asked. I'm fine. His spiritual power was sealed, Gongzi Yuan replied. Sima Yue nodded at the two of them. Then, she looked at the man and said, Tell me, why did you call me here? You don't have to look like you're facing a great enemy. I'm very friendly and would like to get to know you. The man said, Your friendliness is really special. Sima Yue snorted. Release Gongzi Yuan and Ruo Bai. I didn't intend to embarrass the two of them. It's just that with them, you will be more sincere to talk to me. The man said, After the matter is done, I will naturally release them. But if you don't want to, I can't guarantee their safety. What conditions do you have? I'll agree. Sima Yue said. Good. Straightforward. The man clapped his hands lightly. I heard that the two of them had a good relationship when they were in Eternal Brilliant City. Now that they can be treated like this by you, it's not in vain that they were loyal to you. If you want to negotiate with me, shouldn't you show some sincerity? Sima Yue said, Since you have sealed their spiritual power, even if they are with me, they are no threat to you. The man thought for a moment and waved his hand. The guards immediately released Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruobai. Gongzi Yuan was free and pulled Xiao Ruobai to Sima Yue's side. Xia, why are you here? They have a lot of experts here. Gongzi Yuan said. I know. Sima Yue said, Are you too injured? Take this healing pill first. She took out 2 pills and gave them to the two. She didn't know if the man was too confident in his strength, but he didn't stop her. Gongzi Yuan took the pill and ate it. Xiao Ruobai looked at the pill in her hand and didn't move. Ruobai? Gongzi Yuan urged her. Xiao Ruobai looked up at Sima Yue, said thank you, and then swallowed the pill. As soon as she ate it, she knew that this pill was not as simple as healing. Okay, now you can say it. What do you want me to do? Sima Yue stood in front of the two and looked at the man. It's very simple. I want you to come with me. The man said, I don't know who you are. Besides, you want me to go with you. Aren't you afraid that I will betray you? Sima Yue asked. This is easy to solve, isn't it? My name is DC Kong. You may have heard of my family. DC Kong said. DC Kong? Sima Yue was startled and remembered Di Wu Yi in the Spirit Pagoda. Sorry, I have never heard of the 4th family. I only know the 5th family. Do you know the 5th family? DC Kong smiled. The 4th family is obviously more powerful than the 5th family. How do you know that they don't know us? But it's all the same. The 4th and 5th families all work for the princess. Anaheim, don't you know that Anaheim sent people to kill me and my father before? If she knew that you came to me, I don't know if she would be suspicious of your 4th family. If the princess knows your ability, she will naturally accept you. The 4th family still has the face to protect your life. DC Kong said, but I don't want to work for her. Sima Yue said, so, I'm sorry. I can't agree to your request. Are you sure? I originally thought that you wanted me to help you heal your legs. I didn't expect this to be your request. I am a vengeful person. Anaheim sent people to kill me before. It's fine if I don't take revenge on her, but you want me to work for her. Do you think this is possible? Sima Yue scoffed. Follow me. Not in front of her. DC Kong explained. Isn't it the same? Change your request. I can still consider. Sima Yue said. Do you think that you still have a choice when you are here? DC Kong stopped smiling. His entire aura became sinister. Either you die, or you agree. There's no other choice. What if I insist on the 3rd choice? Sima Yue asked. Then you will pay the price for your choice. Gongzi Yuan or this beauty, you can choose for yourself. DC Kong threatened. Unfortunately, I won't choose either. Sima Yue said. Then I will choose for you. Don't you have a grudge with this beauty? She's fine. After DC Kong finished speaking, a spiritual power with the strength of underworld venerable immediately attacked Xiao Ruo Bai. Chapter 1862. Remember in 1 second, love divided by you? Read book, web, update quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. No matter how heaven-defying Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruo Bai were, their age was still there. They had not reached the level of Underworld Emperor, so there was no way to avoid this attack. Xiao Ruo Bai found that she was locked in place and couldn't move at all. It was impossible to move, even if she wanted to. She watched the spiritual power getting closer and closer, and felt the footsteps of death getting closer and closer. She should have closed her eyes so that she wouldn't be so scared, but she couldn't control herself and watched it get closer and closer. The aura of death, despair, unwillingness. Just when she thought she was going to step into death, a hand grabbed her hand. The hand was full of strength, trust, concern, and hope. Then, Sima Yue's familiar back stood on her side, blocking the approach of death. Then she saw her condense spiritual power and disperse the spiritual power attacking her. Sheer. Everyone present was stunned. She had actually received Ming Zun's attack so easily. Sima Yue turned her head and smiled at Xiao Ruo Bai, saying, "Don't worry, I will protect you." The tears in Xiao Ruo Bai's eyes finally fell uncontrollably. Sima Yue reached out and wiped it for her. Holding her hand, she faced DC Kong again. DC Kong quickly recovered from the shock and said, "I didn't expect you to have reached the strength of Underworld Senior. This really surprised me. No wonder you dare to come alone." A black dragon, a mutated dog, plus her own strength, it was enough to make her confident. "It's not that I want to come alone, but you didn't give me a chance to bring people," Sima Yue said. "However, do you think you could take them away like this? I don't think you are so naive, right?" DC Kong said. "If we can make peace, naturally we don't have to fall out with each other, right?" Sima Yue said, "However, if you hurt my friends, there's no need for us to talk anymore. Do you think you can get out like this?" Diddy Kong said, "Smart people know that a wise man submits to circumstances. It's not worth it for you to die here. 15 in the southwest, 10 in the southeast, 10 in the north, and 12 in the west. The weakest is at the Emperor of the Underworld. Am I right?" Sima Yue named the people who were hiding in the courtyard one by one. Diddy Kong's expression became more and more serious as she spoke. She could actually clearly identify the people in the courtyard. How did she know? Sima Yue looked at him and continued, "Besides that, there are hundreds of people guarding outside, right? I didn't expect your senses to be so powerful. However, just because you can discover them doesn't mean you can leave." Diddy Kong said, "Since you know the people here, then you should understand that with your little strength, it is no different from hitting a stone with an egg. It was better not to make a futile struggle. This will save us a lot of trouble." Xiao Ruo Bai and Gongzi Yuan became nervous when they heard their conversation. Could they leave under such circumstances? Sima Yue gave the two of them a reassuring expression, and then said to Diddy Kong, "What if I insist on leaving? Without backup, what can you do?" Diddy Kong said, "What I can't get has never been allowed to exist in this world, so we can only fight." Sima Yue sighed. "However, you are wrong about one thing." "What?" "I didn't come alone," Sima Yue said. "My little friends can't wait to come out." After that, she called out all her beasts. Little Seven, Little Dream, Huahua, Little Golden Snake, Little Rock, Chongming, Yawang, Blackie, Mi Air, Heiyin, and Little Purple. 11 beasts appeared around her, startling everyone. "Damn, Sheer, you have so many contract beasts." Gongzi Yuan almost jumped up in surprise. Xiao Ruo Bai was also not calm. She never knew that Yue had so many contract beasts. Diddy Kong looked at these contract beasts and was not particularly surprised. Instead, he laughed. "You really are not Murong Shi. Some of these contract beasts are from the human realm. If I'm not wrong, you're the daughter of the Dark Princess, Sima Yue, right? Aren't you waiting to confirm your guess? Sima Yue said, now it proves that your guess is correct. Hee hee, you really know. Then why did you call out all these contract beasts to confirm your identity? Didi Kong said, of course it's because I didn't intend for you to spread this news. Sima Yue looked at them. As long as you can't get out, how can this news spread? Ha ha. I used to think that I was a confident person. I didn't expect that there would be someone more confident than me. Do you think that with these contract beasts of yours, you can break out of my encirclement? That depends on who is encircled. Sima Yue smiled at him, and that smile gave him a bad premonition in his heart. Master, our space here is sealed. A guard appeared from the space and knelt beside Didi Kong. What did you do? Didi Kong looked at Sima Yue. One of my favorite things to do is to close the door and beat the dog. Sima Yue said, you know so much about me. Don't you know this? Huan, thank you. Huan appeared in the air with his hands crossed over his chest and looked at the situation below indifferently. With your strength, you want to resist us? The maid who led her and shouted. Didi Kong did not have such confidence. He looked at Huan and estimated his strength in his heart. To be able to isolate the space of the entire courtyard from the outside, this strength was not something that ordinary people could do. So this one must be a guy who is not to be trifled with. You don't have to look at him like that. He is only responsible for closing the door, not beating the dog. Sima Yue said, it just so happens that after arriving in the ghost realm, the beasts haven't had a good time. This time you guys can have fun. Oh my god, we can finally have fun. Little Seven clench her fists. My little grandaunt's fists are going to rust. Still the same as before. Hua Hua waved her rattan, and a man-eating flower bloomed on it. The sharp teeth in the flower shone with a cold light. Good, Little Dream agreed. Why are you guys talking so much nonsense? I'll go first. Hei Yin spread his wings and attacked the people hiding in the southwest corner. As soon as she moved, the other beasts also moved. Only Little Purple lazily lay in Sima Yue's arms and yawned. Sima Yue condensed a protective circle to surround the three of them to prevent them from being hurt by the aftermath of the attack. You damn woman. The maid left Didi Kong's wheelchair and flew towards Sima Yue with her sword raised. If I don't show my power, do you think I'm a useless cat? Little Purple looked at the woman and snorted coldly, waving her cat paws casually. Chapter 1863. 1 second to remember, love divided by you. Read book, webno pop-up window, free to read. Little Purple only waved its little claw. Everyone didn't put in their eyes, nor did they put its little claw in their eyes. However, after it waved its claw, a bolt of lightning directly struck the maid and turned her into a piece of black charcoal. Everyone else was stunned. How could there be lightning here? Phew, I hate people who don't take me seriously the most. Little Purple blew its paw and then lay down in Sima Yue's arms again. Here it comes. I knew this kind of thing would happen when Little Purple makes a move. Little Seven rolled his eyes, venting his unhappiness of being robbed of the limelight on these people. As long as it doesn't strike us. Hei Yin was helpless against Little Purple. Who let it be afraid of lightning? If you have time to be in a daze, it's better to kill 2 more people. Little Meng didn't feel anything about this. Whose limelight wasn't you use? There was nothing to fight for. In the ghost realm, we really can't match its advantage. Little Peng thought about how he was once a popular figure in the human realm. Unlike now, no one paid attention to him. Chongming smiled helplessly. These guys. The beasts continued to fight after complaining, but Gongzi Yuan and Xiaorua by beside Yue couldn't take it anymore. They were stimulated. As a ghost clan, they were deeply affected by the lightning just now. Until now, they could still feel the burning pain of the lightning element attached to their bodies. They had seen Little Purple in Eternal Brilliant City, but they didn't expect it to be such a powerful beast. With this lightning, at least half of them would be killed. DC Kong looked at Little Purple in shock. He knew that there was a purple kitten beside Sima Yue, but he didn't expect it to be able to use lightning. What kind of beast is this? It's so. The word powerful was stuck in his throat. This was not a good thing for him. Since I dare to come to you alone, I don't have the courage to do so without some strength. Sima Yue stroked little Z. I gave you a chance to leave quietly, but you forced me to choose this way. DC Kong's face was as ugly as constipation. How did he know that there was such a perverted person like her in the world? He had noticed Sima Yue the first time she went to the underworld artifact shop. At that time, his intuition was that this Murong, she was not an ordinary person at all. That was why he sent people to investigate her. As one of the top forces in the world of spirits and souls, the information he found was much more detailed than others. The difference between the events before and after was too great. No matter how he looked at it, it didn't seem like the same person. That was why he made such a guess. He was indeed sharper than the average person. He guessed the beginning, but not the end. Who knew that she had so many beasts, and they were so powerful? You think you can harm my Yu? Black lava swept his tail, and Diddy Kong flew up with the wheelchair and landed not far away. At the same time, a few guards flew to his side to protect him. The other guards attacked He Yin together. Other beasts had their own opponents. Black lava was besieged by so many powerful people, and he was at a disadvantage for a while. His tail was cut several times. You stay here and don't go out, Sima Yue said to the two of them, put little Z on her shoulder, and went out of the protective circle. Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruo Bai wanted to say that it was too dangerous outside, but she had already gone out, and the two of them couldn't follow. Staying inside at this time was the only way he wouldn't drag her down. Sima Yue flew over, and those people saw that it was little Z on her shoulder and retreated. Yu, they burned but with fire. Black lava acted coquettishly to Sima Yue. Burned your, but with fire? Are they bullying us because we don't have fire? Sima Yue snorted coldly. Her right hand spread out, and a flame suddenly burst out from her hand. As soon as little birdie came out, it was very excited. Before Sima Yue could speak, it flew out and kept flying in the air. After sleeping for so long, it could finally fly around again. What kind of flame is this? Why is the temperature so high? The people of Ghost Clan shouted. This is the Nirvana flame. Of course the temperature is high. Black lava snorted. Don't you like to burn me with fire? I'll let you have a taste of being burned by fire. Little birdie, go burn their butts. Little birdie happily turned around twice, and then flew a few laps around the people who had just besieged Little Black Dragon. Those people didn't even have time to scream before they directly turned into ashes. Its move shocked all the people present. There is such a powerful flame. This is the flame of the divine bird, Vermilion Bird. Dixie Kong looked at Sima Yue, and he regretted provoking her. It seems that you don't know much about me, Sima Yue said. If you know me a little more, you should know that my contract beast is the divine bird, Vermilion Bird. What? Perhaps my current strength isn't enough to compete with Dixie Family or Anaheim, but it's more than enough to deal with you. Sima Yue said, Dixie Kong, you're very powerful to be able to guess my identity, but at the same time, you're too conceited. You're confident that you can easily catch me. It seems that I've made a big mistake. Dixie Kong said, but you've also made a mistake. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Your people are very powerful, but they're all your contract beasts. So, as long as I kill you, they'll naturally disappear. Dixie Kong finished speaking and quickly condensed his spiritual power, attacking Sima Yue. You think that only you know how to use underworld techniques. Sima Yue's hands formed a seal, and her spiritual power turned into a big net that trapped Dixie Kong's spiritual power and then dissipated into spiritual power. Inescapable net. This is an underworld technique that only Lord Amo knows. How did you know it? Dixie Kong shouted. Of course, he taught me. Don't you know that I have a good relationship with him? Sima Yue finished speaking and formed another net, heading towards Dixie Kong's net. Xiao Ruo Bai and Gongzi Yuan saw Sima Yue throwing out one spirit technique after another, and her spiritual power seemed to be endless. When I met her, she was still a little girl without any spiritual power, and now she has left us far behind. Gongzi Yuan sighed. Indeed, she's beyond our reach, whether it's her strength or her identity. Xiao Ruo Bai murmured. Gongzi Yuan looked sideways at Xiao Ruo Bai, patted her on the shoulder, and said, "The matter between you and Shiv is already like this. You know yourself, it's not hard to blame her. Besides, she has done so much for you and us. Why don't we just let this matter go? Can we go back? Xiao family can't come back. Can we still go back?" Xiao Ruo Bai looked at Sima Yue. "We can't go back, Yuan. I can't go back with her." Chapter 1864. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read book, web no pop-up window, free to read. With the addition of Little Birdie, the beasts fought more easily. Soon, the people in the entire courtyard were killed by them. When the last person was killed, Sima Yue came back and removed the protective shield she had set up. "Are you all right?" "We are naturally fine," Gongzi Yuan said. "How are you?" "DC Kong's strength can't hurt me." Sima Yue smiled. "Gongzi, the commandery prince has already brought people over. I still have something to do, so I will leave first." "Xia," Gongzi Yuan stopped her. He wanted to talk about her and Xiao Ruo Bai, but he didn't know how to say it. Sima Yue looked at Ruo Bai and said to Gongzi Yuan, "Ruo Bai probably has nowhere to go. You take good care of her. If you want to stay into you, the second prince is a better support. You could go directly to him." Xiao Ruo Bai opened her mouth, but didn't say anything. At this time, the sound of footsteps and voices came from outside the courtyard. Sima Yue nodded to the two and put away the beasts. She came to Huan's side in the air, looked back at the two, and slowly disappeared from the air. When the others rushed over, all they saw was a scene of devastation and the two people in the courtyard who had yet to recover from the shock. "Young master, are you all right?" Gongzi Yuan's attendant ran over and saw his young master standing in the courtyard in a daze. He hurriedly ran over and hugged him, howling, "Young master, you have been missing for 2 days. You scared me to death. Young master, are you all right? Are you hurt anywhere?" Gongzi Yuan pushed him away and said helplessly, "You are hugging me so tightly. How can I talk?" "Oh, young master." The attendant stepped back and looked at him nervously. "Young master." A guard came over. "Are you all right?" "We are fine." "Where is this?" The guard glanced around. These ruins had experienced a great battle. "My friend saved us just now. I will tell father and Wang Ye about the rest." Gongzi Yuan said. "Yes. When Wang Ye found out that you were missing, they also sent their guards out to search for you." The guard said, "But we received news that you were here, so we rushed over." Gongzi Yuan guessed that Sima Yue must have asked B to inform them after knowing that they were here. "Let's go. Since Wang Ye still sent people to look for us when they're so busy, we should go and tell them that we're safe." After he finished speaking, he looked at Xiao Ruo Bai. "I was caught before I told you what I wanted to say. What she said before she left was what I wanted to say. Come with me. Whether you follow me or the second prince, it's not a good time for you to leave alone. She doesn't want anything to happen to you." Xiao Ruo Bai was a little hesitant, but when she heard his last sentence, she nodded. "Okay." After Sima Yue left, she appeared at the city gate and walked back alone. As soon as she entered the city gate, she saw Murong Hui and others rushing out. She quickly stopped them. "Father." Murong Hui saw her and quickly stopped the underworld beast. He jumped down and said, "Sure, are you okay?" "Father, I'm fine." Sima Yue shook her head. "Didn't I tell someone to inform you that I'm fine and that you don't have to look for me?" "The two guards of the Wang Ye mansion came back and said that you left with someone else. How could they stay there?" "Wang Ye asked me to come back. I only met Mingda and the others on the way. How could I not come out to look for you when you're gone?" Murong Hui said, "Fortunately, you're fine. How could I go with someone so easily? Naturally, I'm confident. Besides, I have Juan with me. With him, I'll be fine." Sima Yue said. Who caught you?" Murong Hui asked. Let's talk about it when we see Wang Ye. Sima Yue said. Murong Hui knew that the person who caught her must have something to do with this matter. He nodded and said, then let's go. When they arrived at the Wang Ye mansion, Gongzi Yuan and the others had not returned yet. The guard led them directly to Wang Ye's study. Wang Ye, Yu Yin, and a few others were discussing things inside. Knowing that she was back, Wang Ye directly asked someone to bring them in. Shir, are you injured? Yu Yin asked. Sima Yue shook her head and bowed to Wang Ye. Wang Ye, there are some things I need to report to you. Wang Ye trusted her very much now. Seeing her say this, he said to the others in the study, you can leave first. We'll discuss the rest later. Those people were a little surprised that Sima Yue had such a high status in front of Wang Ye. It was even better than Murong Hui. They didn't dare to say anything to Wang Ye, and all got up and left. After they went out, Yu Yin asked, Shir, who caught you? CD Kong. Sima Yue said, from this point of view, the CD family should also be involved in this matter. The CD family? That's right. Sima Yue said, although CD Kong is not the young master of the CD family, he is also the leader of the younger generation. It is definitely not a coincidence that he came here at this time. But we didn't find anyone from the CD family this time. Yu Yin said, maybe the overall situation has been decided and they are not willing to waste more power to come in. Sima Yue said, but this is just my guess. I don't believe in too many coincidences, especially when they had brought so many people with them. Your intuition has always been very accurate. Since you said so, we should also pay attention to these things. Wang Ye said. The CD family has always been Anaheim's right-hand man. This time, it is also planned by Anaheim's people. It is very likely that the CD family will be involved. Yu Yin also believed what she said. They probably did it secretly before, but now that the main forces of the princess consort have been removed by us, they can't do anything. After we settle these, we don't have to be afraid of the CD family. Well, we don't have to worry about this for now. Sima Yue said. The people that CD Kong brought were all killed. All killed? Yes, so the CD family can't reach here for now. Sima Yue said, but whether we can live well in the future depends on how high CD Kong's position in the CD family is. We're not very clear about the internal affairs of the CD family. Wang Ye said, we should know after asking around. Yu Yin said, as long as we pay attention to them in the future, it will be easier to find out. Sima Yue thought of Wu Yi in the Spirit Pagoda and asked him if he knew anything. Chapter 1865. After a while, Gongzi Yuan and the others returned. Wang Ye asked someone to bring him in. Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruobai came in and were stunned when they saw Sima Yue. Then, they returned to normal and saluted to Wang Ye together. I've already heard about your situation from Shir. It's good that you're safe. Wang Ye said. Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruobai didn't know what Sima Yue said, so they couldn't say much. They could only vaguely say, I heard from the people in the county that Wang Ye sent people to look for us when he was so busy. Yuan and Ruobai thanked Wang Ye for his concern. It's good that you're fine. You guys have been frightened this time. Go back and have a good rest. Wang Ye was asking them to leave. Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruobai bowed and left together. Sima Yue watched them leave and stood up to say to Yu Yin, Second Prince, I think you should have heard about the matter between me and Ruobai. If it's possible, I'd like you to take care of her for me. If she comes to me, I will, Yu Yin replied. Thank you, Second Prince. Sima Yue said gratefully. You've cured Imperial Father, and it's all thanks to your idea that we were able to resolve this matter. It's my duty to take care of someone for you. Yu Yin said. After the two sides exchanged some pleasantries, Wang Ye sent someone to send her back, while Murong Hui stayed to continue to deal with those things. Sima Yue felt that he would not return to Vast Region after this matter was over. Wang Ye would definitely find a way to make him stay. It wasn't a good idea to keep watching over there. One had to look forward, right? When they returned to the inn, the people from Vast Region surrounded them. When they saw that Sima Yue was fine, they finally relaxed. I told you that Miss would be fine, Zhang Mingda said with a smile. I don't know who was the one who was so nervous that he didn't rest the whole night and insisted on going out to look for him. Feng Inghan tried to undermine him. Aren't you the same? Zhang Mingda snorted. Miss, who took you away? The fourth family. Sima Yue said. The fourth family? They're probably here for Wang Ye and father. However, it wasn't a big deal. I'm a little tired, so I'm going back to my room to rest. You should take a rest too. Sima Yue said and went to her room. After returning to the house, she set up a barrier and flashed into the spirit pagoda. Little spirit, bring Diwu Yi here, she ordered. Little spirit brought Diwu Yi over. He was still the same as before. There were no changes. If she had not met the people from the fourth family this time, she would not have remembered Diwu Yi, whom she had locked up for so long. Just because she couldn't remember, it didn't mean that others couldn't either. During this period of imprisonment, he and her father, Sima Lu Xian, had become chess friends. Mississippi, when Diwu Yi saw her, he still bowed respectfully. Diwu Yi, do you know where we are now? Do you know who I met today? Sima Yue asked. Diwu Yi was a little surprised. Where was his place? How would he know? Sima Yue did not really want him to say it, so she continued. We're in Diyu City now. I met CD Kong today. What? Diwu Yi widened his eyes in shock. We're already in the ghost realm? Yes. Sima Yue nodded. CD Kong is ruthless. He didn't do anything to you, right? Diwu Yi asked worriedly. I'm fine, he's not. He wanted to catch me, but he lost his life in the end, Sima Yue said. Ah, he's dead? Didn't he always bring a lot of people when he went out? He was actually killed too. Yes, he was burned to death by Xiao Burke. Sima Yue said, I called you here today to ask you about the fourth and Diwu family. Diwu Yi kept his shocked heart and told her everything he knew about the two families. He actually wanted to beg for mercy from the Diwu family, but he knew her position. She would definitely fight to the death with Anaheim, and it was impossible for the family not to follow Anaheim. Sima Yue saw him like that and knew what he was thinking. If your family doesn't stop me in the future, I won't be so ruthless. She was giving him the biggest favor. Diwu Yi was still very grateful. He bowed to her and said, Thank you, Mississippi. You've stayed here for so long. Have you thought about going out? Sima Yue asked. Go out? Diwu Yi's eyes flashed with a touch of passion, and then it disappeared. He shook his head and said, I can't go out. If I go out, they'll recognize me, and they'll know your identity. I'm doing quite well here. It's already a blessing that Miss didn't kill me. Sima Yue was a little surprised by his thoughts. She didn't expect him to think this way. You stay here first. If there's a chance in the future, I'll let you go out for a walk. She let Little Spirit take him away after she finished speaking. At this time, Sima Lu Xian walked over. Seeing her frown, he asked, What are you worried about? Father, I'm thinking about the forces around Anaheim. She had quite a lot of forces before she became the Ghost Empress, and she's developed even more these years. I'm afraid it's not that easy to take her down. Sima Yue voiced out her worries. What did he tell you? Sima Lu Xian asked. He told me about the forces around Anaheim. Because he followed you, he knows a lot of things that others don't know. Sima Yue said, I can only say that Anaheim is much more powerful than what we know. You killed her son. She wants to kill you. This hatred can't be resolved. She's so powerful. You're not bad either. Sima Lu Xian rubbed her head. You have so much spirit power from the ancestor. You're also a member of the 9th Underworld clan, and you have such a good relationship with the people of the Underworld. Moreover, the Ghost King is your grandfather after all. If it's really like what your cousin said, then the Ghost King isn't as bad as you think. Father, do you mean that you want me to go and find the Ghost King? Sima Yue asked. You haven't even seen him. How do you know if he's good or not? Sima Lu Xian said with a smile. You always have preconceived notions, and your heart will resist accepting some people. Sima Yue pursed her lips. All right, she was indeed a little resistant. So she didn't plan to accept the Sima family from the beginning. Now she didn't plan to accept the Ghost King as her grandfather. I'll see how the situation goes later. If he's really good to Mother, it's okay to accept him. If it's not like what we think, the Ghost Realm doesn't belong to him alone. as long as you're happy. Sima Lu Xian never forced her to do what she wanted to do. Thank you, father. Sima Yue hugged his arm. When the region competition is over, I'm afraid the peaceful days before will come to an end. Chapter 1866. Nothing else happened in the next 2 days. She had thought that the county competition would be postponed because of the Wang Fei's matter. What surprised Sima Yue even more was that the people who had been taken away after the county competition had also come. Father, they? Murong Hui saw the people she was referring to and understood what she meant. He said they are all resources. Wang Ye asked them to choose between death and loyalty, and they all made the wise choice. Sima Yue understood. She guessed that they had to swear loyalty to the dynasty so that they could survive. After the last round, there were 152 people. Although the number of people had decreased, the competition had become more exciting. Before the competition began, Yu the Great, Wang Ye, the second prince, and 2 other princes walked in. Although no one knew about the chaos last time, the news still spread later. Therefore, when they saw that Wang Ye and the second prince were in good health, no one was surprised. However, they were still curious about who had cured them. Wang Ye stood on the rostrum and said to the contestants below, "Everyone here is an elite that has been carefully selected. Losing even one person is a huge loss. So from today onwards, the rules of the competition will be changed. Don't go overboard and don't kill anyone." Everyone understood that the previous rules were changed by the princess consort. Now that the princess consort's matter was resolved, the rules naturally had to be changed back. He just felt sorry for those who had died. Sima Yue and Fang Yinghan went to draw their own numbers and then went to the referee to register. Murong Shi, a man dressed in black, stood beside her. When he saw her number, he said, "I'm looking forward to our competition." Sima Yue looked up at him. "You Tianran, shall we team up?" "Yes." Yu Tianran took out his number plate. It was the same number as Sima Yue's 70. "I'll be in your care then." Sima Yue smiled at him and left with Zhang Mingda and the others. I didn't expect Mrs. Opponent to be Yu Tianran. Zhang Mingda looked back at him as he spoke, and then whispered to Sima Yue, "Miss, I heard that Yu Tianran is very powerful." "Yes." "Mid-hellish emperor." Sima Yue said, 7 mid-stage underworld emperors. "I didn't think that I would be so lucky to meet one so soon." "Miss, from the looks of it, he seems to be very interested in you." Fang Yinghan said. "That's normal." Zhang Mingda said, "Now, there are a few people who aren't interested in Mississippi. Everyone is probably thinking about Mrs. Strength right now." "You're right. Not only are they curious, but so are we." "Yes." "Miss, why don't you tell us how strong you are now?" Zhang Mingda asked cheerfully. "What are you talking about?" "You will know when the time comes." Sima Yue did not intend to answer their questions. If she told them now, there was no mystery to speak of. Besides, what if he scared them and made them unable to compete properly? Zhang Mingda looked at Sima Yue and pursed his lips. He complained softly, "Miss is so mean." Sima Yue smiled at him. Her meaning was obvious. "If I don't tell you, will you hit me?" Zhang Mingda felt stifled. Could he? Of course not. Therefore, he could only feel even more stifled. Soon, the first batch of people entered. Now there were 60 people in 30 groups. Sima Yue watched the first batch of people compete. Because there was no Wang Fei behind the scenes, everyone's competition was much more gentle. However, it was also much more exciting. It seemed that the region competition had only just begun. Sima Yue watched each group's competition seriously. Some of them might be her next opponent. Although she was very confident in herself, she preferred to know herself and her opponents. An hour later, the first 30 groups finished. The second group of 30 went up. Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingdao were both here. Unfortunately, neither of them were able to advance to the next round. Now, the results of vast region were all on Sima Yue. Zhang Mingda and Fang Yinghan came back. Both of them were a little dazed. If it was Zi Ping, he could advance to the next round. But he didn't have a chance. Zhang Mingda said with self-blame, "It doesn't matter. You have tried your best." Murong Hui said, "This result is much better than in previous years. You both met the Emperor of the Underworld. Just work harder in the future." Sima Yue also comforted them. "Although we were eliminated, this is much better than we expected before we came." Zhang Mingda said, "After a while, we can see Mrs. Competition. I'm looking forward to it." Sima Yue glanced at him. This guy's mood changed too quickly. More than an hour later, the second batch was completely over. The remaining 16 groups entered the realm of emptiness after receiving their talismans. Because the number of people was only half of the previous group, everyone could watch their competition better. After Yu Tianran entered the realm of emptiness, he flew in the air and waited for Sima Yue. When he saw Sima Yue walk in, he waved his hand and said, "I know, you can fly." Sima Yue smiled. With a tap of her toes, she flew into the air and faced Yu Tianran. "I guess correctly," Yu Tianran said. "Miss Mouron, please." Sima Yue saw that he didn't call out his contract beast, and she didn't call out He Yin either. The two of them fought with their underworld skills. When the people outside saw that she didn't call out He Yin, they were very surprised. They thought that she would use He Yin all the way to the end. Look at the speed of her underworld skills. It's so fast. Those underworld skills seem to be very easy. This was the first time that everyone saw her use underworld skills, and they were surprised by her speed. Look at her underworld skills. They are not of an ordinary grade. Yu Tianran is a mid-stage emperor of the underworld, but she doesn't seem to be at a disadvantage. It seems that she really has the ability, and she doesn't just rely on her contract beast. Sima Yue was in the realm of emptiness, so she couldn't hear the discussions outside. However, she could guess what their expressions would be when they saw her using underworld skills. This Yu Tianran's ability was not weak, and his speed of using underworld skills was faster than the average person. In order to not expose too much of her ability, she could only deal with him at the beginning. The difference between them wasn't very big. After that, when there was a gap, she teleported and appeared behind Yu Tianran. She placed her long sword on his shoulder and ended the battle. Yu Tianran hadn't finished using his underworld skills, and he felt the cold temperature of the long sword. He was a little unwilling, but he still dispersed his spiritual power and said, "I lost." Sima Yue kept her long sword. "Thank you for letting me win." Yu Tianran turned around and clasped his hands towards Sima Yue. "You really have hidden your abilities well. Tell me the truth. You're more powerful than this, right?" Chapter 1867. In 1 second, she remembered, "Love divided by you." Read book, web no pop-up window, free to read. Yu Tianran could feel that Sima Yue was holding back when she was fighting with him. Sima Yue smiled at him and said, "This is a secret." After that, she took out the talisman and crushed the realm of emptiness. Yu Tianran was fascinated by her smile. After she went out, he took out the talisman and went out. The two went to the referee to register and then went back. "Miss Moreau," Yu Tianran called her. Sima Yue looked back at him. "Is there anything else?" "There are two people, Jiang Yuan and LV Liangchun. I'm afraid they are hiding their strength. If you encounter them, be careful," Yu Tianran said. "Well, I know, thank you." Sima Yue felt his kindness and thanked him before leaving. She had noticed the two people he mentioned before. At that time, she felt that these two people should be hiding their strength. But so what? In terms of hiding strength, who could compare with her? Gongzi Yuan was in the last batch and won by a narrow margin and advanced to the next round. In the next two rounds of the competition, 76-38 and 38-19, Sima Yue advanced without any suspense. When 19-10, because there was one more person, there was another person who advanced directly. Before Sima Yue went to draw lots, she said to Moj, who was sitting next to her, "If I get an empty number in this round, I will be in the top 10. Our agreement will be reached." "What if you don't get it?" Moj asked. "Then I will fight into the top 10. Anyway, the ending will be the same," Sima Yue said. "Then let's wait and see." Moj smiled faintly. He was actually looking forward to it. Later, Sima Yue went to draw a number. Seeing her number, she was not disappointed. Sure enough, it was not so easy to draw an empty number. The first group enters the realm of emptiness. The referee shouted. Sima Yue was not number one, but she was also resting in the rest area. While he was watching the match, he saw a person running in from outside in a hurry. To be able to enter even after the venue was closed, this person's identity was definitely not ordinary. She thought that this person would come to Wangya, but she didn't expect that he would go directly to Vast Region, come to Emoji's side, and whisper something in his ear after saluting. After listening to his words, Emoji's face changed slightly. Then he nodded and said, "I know," and sent him away. Sima Yue was guessing in her heart what he was so concerned about. Before she could think of an answer, she heard the referee call for the second group of players to enter the realm of emptiness. Sima Yue took the talisman and went in. Her opponent was Jiang Yuan, whom Yu Tianran had mentioned to her before. Jiang Yuan looked at Sima Yue and said, "I didn't expect to meet you. It seems like my luck isn't that good." Sima Yue smiled. "You also hid your strength, didn't you? I don't know if my strength is enough in front of you. No matter what, I have to give it a try." Jiang Yuan had noticed Sima Yue's strength for a long time, and it was definitely not like what she showed. He didn't expect to be so unlucky to meet her at this time. But it was not his personality to give up directly, so he still intended to fight with all his strength. "Please." Sima Yue waved her hand. The other party did not call for a contract beast, so she did not call He Yin out. Just like the previous two times, she only used her own spiritual power. Jiang Yuan's strength was much stronger than Yu Tianran's. Although the two seemed to be about the same before, when he released his strength, his combat effectiveness was 2 levels higher. However, this was not much of a difference for Sima Yue. She could easily deal with it without exposing her strength as an underworld senior. The more Jiang Yuan fought, the more shocked he became. He had overestimated her strength, but he didn't expect that she was much stronger than he thought. If he didn't pay attention to his combat ability, he would have been beaten down by her long ago. Sima Yue glanced outside and saw that Emoji looked a little anxious. She wanted to end it quickly, so she changed her underworld skill and used the inescapable net that she had used before. The huge, inescapable net trapped Jiang Yuan, and it slowly shrank under Sima Yue's control. After destroying his defensive layer, it stopped. Jiang Yuan felt the power contained in the net. If it continued to shrink, he would be seriously injured. He wanted to use teleportation to leave, but he found that the space he was in had been frozen by her, and he couldn't leave. He had no choice but to admit that he had lost. Sima Yue dispersed the inescapable net, said that she had offended him, and crushed the talisman to leave the realm of emptiness. Emoji recognized Sima Yue when she used the inescapable net. She actually knew the underworld skill of the old ancestor. The old ancestor taught her, but not him. Therefore, when Sima Yue came back after registering, she was faced with Emoji's somewhat sad eyes. "What's wrong with you?" Sima Yue asked. "The old ancestor taught you underworld skills." Emoji said, "Yes, when we were in the human world, he said that if I taught him how to make tea, he had to teach me something, so he taught me a lot of underworld skills." Sima Yue said, "A lot?" Emoji was not calm. "Ahem. Well, did that person look for you for something?" Sima Yue changed the topic. Looking at him like this, Emoji probably didn't teach him much before. This feeling was really like snatching a child's candy. "Well, I don't think I can wait until your competition is over." Emoji's expression became serious when he talked about business. "There's a situation at the Nirvana River I have to rush over immediately." And her competition still had several rounds before it was over. "I'll go with you." Sima Yue blurted out without thinking. "But what about your competition?" "I'll discuss it with my father. We won't compete in the following competitions." Sima Yue said, "Now that we're in the top 10, it's already good for Vast Region. As for the final ranking, it doesn't matter much." She didn't know why, but she always felt that if she didn't go to the Nirvana River this time, she would regret it. Emoji actually felt that this kind of competition was meaningless. Since she said so, he agreed. Then you could discuss it with Wang Ye and see what he thinks. Sima Yue went to Murong Hui's side and told him about this matter and her plan. Murong Hui only hesitated for a while before agreeing. If she wanted to do her own things, he would not stop her. He took her to find Yu Wang Ye and told them about her leaving. "Are you really leaving?" Yu Wang Ye asked. Sima Yue nodded. She had already made a decision. After the region competition, we will let the top-ranked people go to the imperial capital to participate in the dynasty competition. If he can come back in time, I still hope he can participate. Yu Wang Ye said, "I'll leave a place for you here." Sima Yue wanted to say no, but Wang Ye's words made her change her mind. He said, "If you want to go to the imperial capital, it's better to have an identity." Chapter 1868. Remember in 1 second, love divided by you? Read book web, update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue accepted Wang Ye's kindness, but she didn't say anything. She just said that if she could rush back, she would go. If she couldn't, there was no need to leave a place for her. Then she said goodbye to Murong Hui and left with Emoji directly from the arena. When the people in Vast Region learned that she had left, they were all disappointed and couldn't digest the news for a long time. How can she leave just like that? Miss is different from us. She won't stay in one place forever. Sigh, miss. I can't bear to part with her. Murong Hui heard their words and felt a little sad in his heart. Since she came to the ghost realm, he had been taking her with him. Now, she had also flown out. After the end of the competition, Yu Wang Ye announced this to everyone. The list of the top 10 in this region competition has come out. Congratulations to those who have advanced. Here, I have a piece of news to announce. Murong Shi has left the competition because of some things. So in the following competition, only 9 people will compete for the top 9 places. This piece of news caused an uproar in the entire venue. She left just like that? She didn't want to participate in the following competition? With her strength, they were afraid that she would get more than the 10th place. They were really curious about what kind of thing made her willing to give up the competition. Xiao Ruo Bai and Gongzi Yuan, who were sitting in the audience, were shocked by the news. She left just like that. Xiao Ruo Bai was a little disappointed. She had a feeling that if she left today, they would really not have any intersection in the future. She didn't even tell us that she left. Gongzi Yuan complained in a low voice to hide the sadness in his heart. After all, she left so suddenly that they were not prepared at all. This news was too unexpected, and they all needed to digest this matter. At this time, Sima Yue had already left the Yu City with Emoji and Huan. They sat on Emoji's flying beast and flew to the Nirvana River. Emoji, why don't we use the teleportation array? Sima Yue asked. I don't like the teleportation array that many people have used. Emoji replied. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. What kind of weird fetish was this? Another kind of misophobia? Then why don't you make your own teleportation array? I heard from Yuan Yin that your array formation is quite powerful. I've run out of those long-distance formation stones. I'm waiting for them to send more to me. Sima Yue. Was this even possible? I used to think that this young master of the Mo clan was quite good, but now it seems that he also has a bunch of quirks. How long will we be flying like this? She asked again. A few years. It will be soon when they bring the things here. Emoji said. Sima Yue rolled her eyes. That's a waste of time. Why don't you help me set up the teleportation array? I have a lot of array stones. Emoji thought for a second and agreed. This was indeed a waste of time. They came to an empty space, and Sima Yue took out a pile of array stones. Emoji helped her set up the array formation together. Sima Yue saw the undisguised arrangement of the array formation and laughed. Aren't you afraid that I will learn your method? Emoji glanced at her plaintively and said, The old ancestor has taught you a bunch of his underworld skills. Am I afraid that you will learn my method? Sima Yue rubbed her nose. Why did she have to bring it up? I said. Emoji stopped what he was doing, looked at her, and asked, What else did the old ancestor do for you? What? Sima Yue didn't understand what he meant. He asked me to protect you, and teach you underworld skills personally. Did he do anything else for you? Let you become a member of the Mo clan, or give you something else? Emoji asked plaintively. No. Sima Yu understood this guy's mood. We didn't get along for a long time, so he didn't teach me much. He asked you to protect me. Isn't this actually discussed with you? If you don't want to, he definitely won't force you. He won't force me. He will just tell others about it. After saying that, he sighed. The old ancestor is so easy to bribe. Why didn't those people understand before? How can it be so easy? Do you know when your old ancestor first saw me, he was going to kill me? Sima Yue complained. Really? Of course. He said that he wanted to kill me for Anaheim. The strength of your old ancestor is not something that I can resist. Fortunately, I know how to make tea and have more tea leaves in my hands, so I was able to come back with my life. Sima Yue said so pitifully, which made Emoji feel better. Although it wasn't so good at the beginning, it was good in the end. Emoji said, you have the underworld skills personally taught by the old ancestor, so you are his disciple. Even in the Mo clan, your status is very high. I am his master, Sima Yue said. Emoji, the old ancestor of the Mo clan. It's not bad to be his disciple, and you still want to be his master? But if you say it, the old ancestor might really admit it. Alas, his heart was tired. He shook his head and continued to arrange the array. By the way, what happened to the Nirvana River? Sima Yue followed him out and didn't ask him what happened. Could it be that my baby was born in advance? Emoji rolled his eyes at her. What baby? It's the people I left there. Something happened. Emoji said, but there's indeed news coming back, saying that the recent movements in the Nirvana River have been a little big. Ah, is that baby coming out? I don't know. Then what happened to your people? Sima Yue asked. It said that every few days there will be one less person, and there will be no bones left. But no matter how careful they are, it's still the same. When Emoji said this, he frowned slightly. That kind of feeling, it didn't seem like something that ordinary people could do. Could it be that they were taken away by the river god? Sima Yue said, there is no river god in the Nirvana River. Emoji denied. We'll know when we go and see. Then let's speed up. Sima Yue sped up her hands, and the two worked together and quickly arranged the array. Huan, come here. She waved to Huan, and Huan, who had been silent, came over. The three of them stood in the teleportation array and then disappeared. Because the distance was too far, they changed several teleportation arrays, and a month later, they finally arrived near the Nirvana River. The space near the Nirvana River is unstable, so we can't use the teleportation array for the rest of the journey. Emoji said, well, then let's take the flying beast. Sima Yue looked at the sky. She didn't know why, but when she felt here, the throbbing in her heart became more obvious. Could it be that there is really a treasure calling me? Chapter 1869. Remember in a second, love divided by you? Read book, web, update quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. After flying for a few days, they arrived at the Nirvana River. Apart from the wide Dead Sea, the Nirvana River looked no different from other rivers. Is this Nirvana River really connected to the River of Forgetfulness? I don't see any difference. Sima Yue asked Emoji. It doesn't look any different now, but the water is much lighter than ordinary river water. The closer we get to that area, the lighter the water is, and even feathers can't float in the end. Emoji explained. Then are we going to that area? We're near there. Emoji said, it's not far from here. Sima Yue saw many camps on the way, and every time they passed by, those people would look at them vigilantly. But after recognizing Emoji's flying beast, everyone respectfully retreated. The Mo clan has a very high status in the ghost realm. Sima Yue sighed. Emoji is the head of the 8 great aristocrats in the ghost realm, so his status is naturally very high. Emoji said proudly. Are the 8 great aristocrats all from the ghost realm? Sima Yue asked. 4 of them are, 3 are from the Soul Society, and 1 is from the Infernal Hell. Emoji said, "There are also families in the Soul Society?" Sima Yue was curious. Weren't those people with soul bodies? Could this kind of people marry and have children and reproduce a family? What are you thinking about? Emoji saw the light flashing in her eyes, and his head was full of black lines. Sima Yue smiled at him. Isn't this curious? Emoji rolled his eyes at her. The people of the Soul Clan can't carry on their ancestral line, but they will form a family. It's the same as forming a force, but the name is different. Then why not call it a force, but a family? Sima Yue was puzzled. Anyway, wasn't it the same? Maybe this way, they have a more sense of belonging. Emoji said, the Soul Clan and the Soul World have no previous memories, so it's easier to instill the idea of a family in them. You're right. I don't think many of them have memories. Sima Yue said, the head of the 8 great clans. Your Mo clan is really powerful. Even so, isn't it still under the king's rule? Emoji was not complacent because of his family status. Moreover, there are many hidden forces in the ghost realm. Those are really powerful. Do you admire them? It's not worship, but there's always something that I yearn for. Emoji said, the 9 Nether clan you mentioned last time, they're the real kings of the ghost realm. The 9 Nether clan used to be very powerful, but didn't they also decline now? It hasn't appeared for so many years. Maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Sima Yue said, even if it doesn't exist anymore, it still makes people yearn for it. It's a kind of worship from the heart. After Emoji finished speaking, he sighed as if lamenting the decline of the 9 Nether clan. Sima Yue wanted to know something about the 9 Nether clan, but she couldn't talk to him more now, so she asked, can we go to that place and have a look? There? Emoji shook his head. It's too dangerous there. We'd better not get close. Once we accidentally fall into the water, we won't be able to get up again. Oh, Sima Yue was a soul body. Even if she really fell into the water, she was not afraid. But she still didn't want to say it now and make him worry. After flying for a few days, they finally arrived at the place where the Mo clan camped. When the people of the Mo clan saw Emoji, their decadent aura was swept away as if they had found their backbone. Young master, you're finally here. A middle-aged man came to the front of the crowd and saluted Emoji. This is Jean, the steward of the clan. This is Sima Yue, the disciple of the ancestor, and her friend Huan. Emoji introduced the 2 people, and then asked, how is the situation now? Jean was surprised when he heard Emoji say that Sima Yue was the disciple of the ancestor. Why haven't they heard of any disciple of the ancestor? In the face of Emoji's inquiry, he quickly restrained his mind and replied, before, one person disappeared every 7 or 8 days, but now it has reached 1 every 5 days. It has been 3 days since the last time. In other words, another person will go missing in 2 days? Emoji said, didn't any of you notice anything unusual before? We're ashamed. We really didn't. Jean said, since there are still 2 days, let's wait here. Sima Yue said, maybe we can find something by then. She was very confident in Huan's strength. If there was really something, he should be able to find it. Emoji understood what she meant, and seeing that Huan didn't say anything, he agreed. Then let's wait for 2 days and see. Yes, Jean responded. By the way, is this only happening here? What about other forces? Sima Yue asked. Almost every force has its own shame. It's just that the interval is different. Jean replied. I see that there are still a lot of people along the way. Haven't they thought about leaving? The Nirvana River has been quite turbulent recently, and everyone is rumored to be about to be born. Now it's just a few people who are missing. How can it be compared to the enthusiasm for the treasure? Jean replied. The last thing in the ghost realm is people. Sima Yue understood that there was no comparison between a few people dying and getting a treasure in the hearts of the living. Yue, you've been on the road for so long. Have a good rest today, and let's go around tomorrow. Emoji said. Sima Yue was indeed a little tired. Although she wanted to go to the river to have a look, she saw that Emoji still had something to tell Jean and the others. He probably wouldn't agree to go out alone. So she and Huan went to find an empty space at the side of the camp to set up a tent. When the people of the Mo clan saw this, they all went up to help her, but she had nothing to do. Mo Jean looked in the direction of Sima Yue and asked, "Young master, what is the origin of Sima Yue? How can she be the disciple of the ancestor?" "She is the child of the Dark Princess and the human race in the human world. It's not accurate to say that she is the disciple of the ancestor. She and the ancestor are both teachers and friends. She is the ancestor's master in the art of tea. The ancestor returned the favor and taught her a lot of underworld skills." Emoji was still brooding about this. Emojan was surprised. "There was a rumor in the clan that the ancestor asked you to protect someone. Is it her?" "That's right. Go back and tell everyone to pay attention to her safety. If anything happens to her, the old ancestor will peel our skin and pull out our tendons." Emoji ordered. "I see. I'll give the order in a while." "Okay. Now, tell me what happened during this period of time." "Yes. Not long after Sima Yue's tent was set up, there was movement from the Nirvana River. It was said that the river was moving more than before. Chapter 1870. In 1 second, she remembered, "Love divided by you?" Read book, web quick update. No pop-up window. Free to read. Sima Yue came out of the tent and came to Emoji's side and said excitedly, "Is there a treasure coming out?" "No, I didn't sense the aura of a treasure." Emoji discouraged her enthusiasm. "Then what's going on?" Sima Yue asked. "Something must have happened at the bottom of the Nirvana River and caused a battle." Emojan guessed. When Sima Yue heard that there was no treasure, her interest dropped by more than half, and she said, "It can't be that there were only people fighting at the bottom of the river before, right? If that was the case, then her trip would have been in vain." "No," Emojan said affirmatively. "We did sense other auras." "Okay then." Sima Yue looked at the surging river in the distance, and her mind was rippling. She wanted to go down and find out. She looked back at Huan behind her, only to see that Huan was in a daze, and his attention was not here. "Huan, what are you thinking about?" Sima Yue asked. Huan cut off the connection with the shadow and said, "I'm thinking about what kind of underworld beast dares to duel at the bottom of the Nirvana River." "Can't it?" Sima Yue asked. "The Nirvana River is connected to the River of Forgetfulness. Once the river here goes out of control, the water of the River of Forgetfulness will flow over. At that time, all the underworld beasts in the Nirvana River will drown." Huan explained. "Drown?" Sima Yue was amused by this statement. "Can the underworld beasts in the water be drowned by the water? This drowning is naturally different from ordinary drowning." Huan said, "The water of the River of Forgetfulness is gentle, and the underworld beasts of the Nirvana River can no longer survive in it." "Okay, then what if the water of the Nirvana River flows into the River of Forgetfulness?" Sima Yue asked. "This does not have much impact on the underworld beasts in the River of Forgetfulness, but they can no longer sink to the bottom of the river to live." Huan said, "So, it is important to ensure the stability of the two rivers. Does anyone care about this?" "No one used to. However, the underworld beasts living in this area understand this, so no one will fight at the bottom of the river at will." Huan said. Emojan looked at Huan in surprise. Who was he? He actually knew so much. Now, there are actually underworld beasts fighting directly at the bottom of the river regardless of the danger. It seems that they have been forced into a corner. Emoji said. However, Sima Yue caught on to another point. "Huan, you said that no one was in charge of it in the past. In other words, someone is in charge now. There seems to be something going on at the River of Forgetfulness." Huan didn't say it out loud as he muttered in his heart that the king was too much. He didn't even tell her about the situation now. When she found out that Wu Lingyu was on the other side of the River of Forgetfulness and knew that he had become like this, she would definitely be angry. Should he run away in advance and get someone else to follow her? Forget it. When she gets angry, I'll just say that it was the king's orders and push all the blame to the king. She won't do anything to the king anyway. Sima Yue called out a few scarlet bees and sent them out to scout for information. Some flew to investigate the surrounding situation, while others flew to the mysterious area. However, as soon as the scarlet bees flew into the area, they lost contact, which made Sima Yue frown. "What's the matter?" Emoji asked with concern. "I lost contact with my bees," Sima Yue said. "I'm going to the river to have a look. There's too much movement over there today. Let's go tomorrow," Emoji said and promised. "Don't worry, today is definitely not the birth of a treasure." Although Sima Yue really wanted to see the situation over there, seeing Emoji repeatedly emphasizing it, she had to wait. At the same time, at the bottom of the river at the junction of the River of Forgetfulness and the Nirvana River, Wu Lingyu was fighting with a huge water snake. After a few rounds, the water snake was seriously injured and knew that it was no match for Wu Lingyu, so it turned around and fled towards the Nirvana River. Wu Lingyu watched as it ran away in a panic, and the corners of his mouth curled into a faint arc. "Want to run? If you don't contribute your snake gallbladder today, how can you leave?" After saying that, he raised his right hand and waved it a few times in the water. The water formed a whirlpool, and the huge suction force sucked the water snake back. You! How can you control the river water of the Nirvana River now?" The water snake screamed in horror, as if it knew something incredible. "The Nirvana River and the River of Forgetfulness are one. Since I can control the water of the River of Forgetfulness, what's the fuss about controlling the Nirvana River?" Wu Lingyu said contemptuously. "Little water snake, are you going to obediently hand over your snake gallbladder? Or do I have to do it myself?" I'll do it myself." The water snake finally gave in and spat out one of its gallbladders. It had 2 gallbladders, which were the source of its power. If it handed it over and kept one, it could still live. At worst, it could just repair another gallbladder in the future. If he had done it himself, then it would have definitely been cut open, and it would have died without a doubt. An emerald green gallbladder came out of its mouth. With a wave of his hand, Wu Lingyu sucked the gallbladder into his hand. The water snake thought that he would eat its gallbladder, but it didn't expect that he would just take out a jade box and put the gallbladder inside. My lord, aren't you going to eat it?" It couldn't help but ask curiously. "Who said that I stole your gallbladder to eat it?" Wu Lingyu put away the box and glanced at it indifferently. "I'm taking it as a gift." After saying that, he turned and returned to the River of Forgetfulness. "Yu, I've collected another good thing for you. Come and take it." When the water snake heard his sigh, it was immediately petrified. He stole its gallbladder to give it to someone who hadn't come to the River of Forgetfulness yet. It didn't know who had such good luck to receive this great demon king's affection. After losing a gallbladder, not only was it heartbroken, its strength was also greatly reduced. It had to go into seclusion to recover its strength as soon as possible. When it thought of this, it swam back to its snake nest. "What? You were also captured by the great demon king." The water snake's neighbor, a small fish, swam over. "Yes. If I had known, I would have listened to you and not gone out at this time." The water snake was filled with regret. Ever since this great demon king came to the River of Forgetfulness, our Nirvana River has been in trouble, and he's so strong. Oh, why didn't someone come and take him? The small fish was heartbroken about its strength, but was also helpless against Wu Lingyu. Now he can not only control the water of the River of Forgetfulness, but also the Nirvana River. Who can beat him now? The water snake thought of Wu Lingyu's strength and still had lingering fears. Our days are really hard. Woo-woo. A snake and a fish cried together. This scene was strange no matter how one looked at it. Wu Lingyu returned to the underwater palace where he usually stayed. Looking at the boxes that he had piled high, he sighed deeply, as if he wanted to spit out his longing. Unfortunately, it was useless. Yu, when will you come to the River of Forgetfulness? Chapter 1871. Remember in 1 second, love divided by you? Read book, web, update quickly, no pop-up window, read for free. Sima Yue waited for a day before Moj agreed to let her go to the river. There are a lot of beasts in the water. You must not get too close. Emoji exhorted. I know. Sima Yue nodded solemnly, muttering in her heart that he now had the potential to be an auntie. The three of them went to the river, but before they got into the water, they heard a commotion from the camp in the distance. What's the matter? Sima Yue looked in that direction and asked. It looks like something has happened. Emoji said. Sima Yue contacted her bee, and after hearing the news from the bee, she said with a solemn face, It seems that we can't leave the camp today. Let's go and see what's going on over there. Emoji said. No need to go. Sima Yue pulled him. They just found out that another person is missing. Another person is missing? Emoji frowned. We didn't see anything just now. We didn't pay attention. We didn't expect that thing to come and catch people today. Sima Yue said, We are not far from those people. I think maybe they will attack the Mo clan. Let's go back and have a look. Emoji was the young master of the Mo clan. He was very concerned about the safety of his people. Okay. When Sima Yue heard the news, she knew that she couldn't leave today, so she obediently followed them back. When Emojan saw Emoji and the others coming back, he hurried forward and said, Young master, things are getting more serious. 3 of them are missing this time. Did no one find out that 3 people are missing? Emojan shook his head. The other party was too quiet. Emojan, go and count our number and see if anyone is missing. Emoji ordered. Sima Yue stood behind him and saw that something was not right behind the Mo clan. Be careful. She condensed her spiritual power and hit the last person in the crowd. The man was stunned at first, but he still subconsciously avoided it. However, her spiritual power did not dissipate, but strangely disappeared. Yue, what's wrong? Emoji and the others didn't notice any strange movements, but seeing that Sima Yue's move disappeared just like that, everyone knew that something was wrong. I saw a faint shadow behind him just now. Sima Yue pointed at the spot, but we didn't see any shadow. The others looked at the place doubtfully, but they didn't see anything. That shadow is transparent, so you can't see it. Sima Yue said. Then how did you find out? Emojan asked. I saw it. Sima Yue said. Although it was faint, I still saw it. Saw it? Everyone looked at her in surprise. We couldn't see it. How did you see it? I saw it just like that. Sima Yue did not know either. Maybe it's because my eyes are different from others. His eyes were different. Everyone stared at her eyes, but they couldn't see anything different. Emoji also stared at her eyes, but soon retracted his gaze and turned to look at the place just now. What about the shadow just now? It ran into the river. Sima Yue pointed to the river. Something in the river? It should be. Sima Yue said, I don't know what it is, but I saw it floating from the river for some distance. Then did you see what it was? Emoji asked. Sima Yue shook her head. It's just a blurry shadow. So, those missing people were all taken away by that shadow. Emojan said. They weren't captured. They were eaten. Sima Yue said. The shadow I saw seemed to be about to swallow him. Eaten? Yes. I think the shadow I saw should be eating people. Sima Yue said. Those missing people should have been eaten at that time. The Mo clan couldn't digest the news for a while. Ordinary clansmen didn't carry their life cards with them at all, so they didn't know that these people were already dead when they disappeared. If those people were just missing, they could still think about whether it was possible for them to come back. But now that she said this, it has already broken their hope. That thing was beaten away by you. I don't know if it will come back later. The Mo clan people felt a little scared at the thought of such an invisible thing eyeing them covetously. The atmosphere suddenly fell silent. Since that thing has been beaten away, it shouldn't come back for the time being. We will find out what it is. During this period of time, everyone should be careful and try not to act alone. Emoji comforted everyone and then said to Sima Yue, come here. Sima Yue and Huan followed him and left the place and came out of the camp. Yue, how can you see that shadow? Emoji asked. Don't say that your eyes are special. You don't even believe this yourself. Hee hee. Didn't your ancestor tell you? Sima Yue smiled. I think I can see it probably because I'm a soul body. You're a soul body. Emoji was shocked by the news and said in disbelief, Are you really a soul body? Then in the human world, I was originally dead. Sima Yue said, but it seems that someone in the human world saved my body again, so I didn't lose my memory. You. Emoji looked at her. Are you really a soul body? Sima Yue nodded. Then how did you? He remembered that when he met her, her strength was still very low. So how could she condense a body? Condense a body? Someone else help me condense this. Sima Yue said without a care. Since you saw this as a soul body, is it also a soul body underworld beast? From the Wangchuan River? Emoji guessed. I don't know about this. Sima Yue said, I don't know much about the underworld beasts in this river. That is a vapor beast which lives at the junction of the Wangchuan River and the Nirvana River. It lives alone, can be invisible, and can change forms, but its strength is not very powerful. After being injured, it will be very vengeful, but it will not recover in 3 to 5 days, so it will not come to trouble you for the time being. Huan, who had been quiet, said, Huh? Huan, do you know this kind of underworld beast? Sima Yue asked. Kind of. Huan said. He would not tell them that this was the news he got from contacting the Black Shadow just now. The Black Shadow had been here for so many years and knew the situation here, so they could just ask him if there was anything. So, these 3 to 5 days are safe. Sima Yue said, Why don't we take advantage of this time to solve this problem? Chapter 1872. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read book, web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. You want to kill the vapor beast? Let's talk about it later. Huan, didn't you say that this vapor beast is vengeful? I heard it today. It will definitely come to me for revenge. Sima Yue said, Instead of waiting for it to come to me, it's better to find it now. As the saying goes, take its life when it's sick, isn't it? That's fine too. Huan agreed. It's more appropriate to find it now when it recovers and comes to you for revenge. But we don't know much about the situation at the bottom of the river. If we go down like this, I'm afraid we will encounter danger. Emoji was a little worried. Why don't I let Emojan take some people down to explore the situation first? They can't see the vapor beast. Besides, all of them together can't beat Huan. So why let them take the risk? Sima Yue said. That's true. Emoji responded. But you don't have to be so direct. Then it's settled. Huan and I will go down. Sima Yue looked at Huan after she finished speaking and said with a smile, Huan, you have no objections, right? I have no objections, but we have to wait for someone. We can only go down when he comes. Huan had no objections to her arrangement. He just needed to follow her and protect her. Who are we waiting for? Black Shadow. Black Shadow is coming too? He's been here recently. Huan said, I think he's more familiar with this place. Let him come over, and we can have a guide when we go down. There's also a thug, right? Sima Yue laughed. Before, when you didn't want to do it, you let him do it. It's called training him. He likes this kind of exercise. Huan had no shame. He contacted Black Shadow, and not long after, Black Shadow came over. As soon as Black Shadow saw Sima Yue, he ran over excitedly and hugged her, wailing, Miss. Sob, sob, sob. Miss, Black Shadow, finally sees you again. Huan pulled him off Sima Yue and said in disgust, Shame. How is it shameful? Black Shadow waited for him. If you didn't follow Miss, you would definitely be like me. No, he must be even more excited than me. Not like you, Huan said. Humph, if you hadn't snatched this opportunity, the person guarding by Miss's side would have been me. The Black Shadow was very unhappy about this matter. If you hadn't cheated at that time, how could I have lost? That's called using your wits. Huan glanced at him indifferently. His gaze was very obvious. You're the one who's stupid, so how can you blame me? Sima Yue saw that Huan was about to make Black Shadow angry again, so she quickly pulled him back and said, Okay, the two of you can't stop arguing. and every time he was bullied by Juan, he didn't even know it. "Miss, if you don't want me to tell you, then I won't tell you." The Black Shadow obeyed Sima Yue's orders. "If you don't want me to tell you, then I won't tell you." Black Shadow, how did you come to the River of Forgetfulness? Sima Yue asked. This. Black Shadow looked at Juan and saw him shaking his head. He said, "Well, the king gave me some tasks, so I came here." "Ming asked you to come to the River of Forgetfulness? What are you doing here?" Sima Yue was curious. Didn't Ming Wang boast that he hadn't participated in the affairs of the ghost world for a long time? This, you will know in the future. I can't tell you now. Black Shadow looked at Sima Yue pleadingly, hoping that she would stop asking. If she continued to ask, he would not be able to help but tell her. This would go against the king's intention of letting them see each other, and he would be punished. Sima Yue saw that he was in a difficult position and became even more curious. Could it be that he was doing something shameful? TSK. Would Ming do such a thing? At this time, she was completely unaware that this matter was related to her. Juan and Black Shadow looked at her eyes that were shining and gossipy, and the corners of their mouths twitched. They didn't know that she was so gossipy now. If she knew that this matter was related to her, would she be so angry that she would cramp up? But fortunately, she sympathized with him and did not continue to ask. Black Shadow, how much do you know about the situation underwater? I know very well. I know about the Bayan River and the River of Forgetfulness. Miss, where are you going? Black Shadow breathed a sigh of relief and asked with a smile. Do you know where the Vapor Beast is? Vapor Beast? I know. Although that guy is not strong, it is very cunning and not easy to catch. What did that guy do to offend Miss? Black Shadow asked. Something happened. Sima Yue told him about how the Vapor Beast ate people and was injured by her. That guy wouldn't dare to find trouble with Miss, even if he had 10 guts. Otherwise, I will beat him up. Black Shadow knew more about the Vapor Beast. If it really offended her, he would definitely not let it live. Sima Yue stared at him. How do you know so much about the underworld beasts underwater? Ahem. After staying there for a long time, I understand. Black Shadow said vaguely. Could he say that it was because someone had a bad temper and couldn't vent it on Hell King? So he had to find trouble with the underworld beasts at the bottom of the river and collect their spiritual power to prepare a gift for her? As someone's protector and troublemaker, he naturally followed them at the bottom of the river. There was nothing that he didn't know about the bottom of the river. Since you know everything, then let's go to the bottom of the river to solve this matter. Then, we will look for the treasure. Sima Yue said. Treasure? What treasure? Black Shadow asked in surprise. The treasure at the bottom of the river. Haven't you noticed that a lot of people have come here recently, all for the treasure at the bottom of the river? Sima Yue was even more surprised than him. Thinking of something, she suddenly grabbed Black Shadow's hand. You don't know about the treasure? You are so familiar with the underwater, but you don't know about it. Is the news of this treasure fake? Black Shadow's mouth twitched, thinking about how to tell her the truth. Where was the birth of a treasure? Those movements were all made by her family. There was no treasure at all. Juan guessed what was going on when he saw his expression. He stepped forward and said, Miss, let's solve the matter of the Vapor Beast first. Let's talk about the treasure later. Well, okay, I'll tell Emoji, Sima Yue said. Emoji was called away by Emojan when he was waiting for Black Shadow. Now that she was ready to go into the water, she naturally told him. When Emoji heard that she was going down, he wanted to say that he would go down with her, but when he thought of what she said, he still didn't say it. If there is any danger, be sure to tell me. He urged. I know. Sima Yue casually won. If something really happened, he wouldn't be able to rush over with his people. They came to the river and looked at the rolling water. Juan and Black Shadow each condensed a protective circle. As Sima Yue was a soul, she didn't need to breathe, so she didn't need to use this at all. When everything was ready, they jumped down together. The water splashed with small waves and then calmed down. Chapter 1873. Love? You? Read BookNet. No pop-ups, free to read. Fast updates, no pop-ups, free to read. The dragon, I was in the river of forgetfulness. Normally, it didn't look conspicuous. Many river bees swam around here, but they didn't look different because of it. The dragon, I was buried in the sand. If not for a coincidence, Wu Lingyu would not have found it and survived through the pagoda. Sima Yue kept all the boxes and followed Wu Lingyu to the place where the dragon eye was. Ming and the others had already arrived and cleared the surrounding river beasts. A milky white bead with a diameter of 10 feet was casually placed in a pile of coral. It was covered with moss and looked inconspicuous. This is the dragon eye, the root of the river of forgetfulness? Sima Yue squatted in front of the dragon eye and looked at the huge bead. Perhaps because Wu Lingyu's soul was fused with it, she felt a familiar aura from the bead. It was a little intimate. However, if she carefully sensed it, she would find that the familiar feeling was not just from Wu Lingyu's aura. She reached out to push the dragon eye. The dragon eye seemed to be placed there casually. She used half of her strength, but she could not move it at all. You don't have to try. Even I can't move it, said Ming. Miss, why don't we try? The people present were not weak, and together they were strong. Okay. She glanced at Ming, and the latter came over reluctantly. She muttered, I really owe you. That's why I'm doing such a degrading thing with you. Sima Yue smiled and did not refute. The five of them exerted their strength together, but the dragon eye still did not move. This dragon eye is really strange. Sima Yue touched her chin thoughtfully. I told you, brute force is useless against it, said Ming. Why don't you try using the chaos chi in your body? Chaos chi? Sima Yue was surprised. You came back from the chaotic world, so your soul is naturally stained with chaos chi. It is the aura that your body has concealed, explained Ming patiently. Sima Yue blinked her eyes and obediently released her aura. The dragon eye, which had no reaction before, began to emit a faint light. Seeing this, she placed her hand on the dragon eye and pushed it hard. Finally, the dragon eye had an indiscernible sway. If it were not for the fact that the people present were all top-notch experts, they might not be able to feel the slightest shake. However, she soon realized that she did not have enough strength. Her body was a little weak, and the degree of shaking was even greater than the dragon eye. Wu Lingyu noticed that her condition was not right. He quickly supported her and pulled her hand away from the dragon eye. Sima Yue felt that the feeling of her losing strength had disappeared. From the time she touched the dragon eye to Wu Lingyu pulling her down, it was only a matter of a few seconds. If it were not for Wu Lingyu's quick reaction, Sima Yue would have been drained of all her strength. Miss, how are you? Asked the black shadow with concern. They did not expect that the dragon eye would have such a big reaction after touching the chaos chi. If it were not for the connection between Wu Lingyu and the dragon eye, which allowed him to feel this and save her in time, it would have hurt her foundation. Ming looked at Sima Yue's pale face, and for the first time, he regretted his words. If he did not let her try the chaos chi, such a thing would not have happened. Wu Lingyu hugged Sima Yue and blamed himself. Sima Yue saw that they were all looking at her nervously. She smiled at them and said, I'm fine. Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? If there is, say it. Wu Lingyu said gently, I'm fine. I just feel a little dizzy and weak. I don't want to stay here any longer. Sima Yue said, then let's go out first. Wu Lingyu hugged her and disappeared from the bottom of the river. Not long after, they appeared on the riverbank. Then, Ming came out with Huan and the Black Shadow. Ming went up to her and checked her hand. Then, he sighed in relief and said, I'm fine. I just used up all my energy. I'll be fine after some rest. Sima Yue nodded. She knew that the energy Ming was talking about was not the spiritual energy in her body, but the energy of her soul and body. How long do you need to rest? She wanted to solve Wu Lingyu's problem as soon as possible. Then, she would go to the imperial capital and ask the Ghost King about the truth. If he could tell her everything about her mother, she would consider whether or not to accept him. If he was not willing to accept her, she would not think of him as her grandfather. She would find another way to find her mother. Even Mo was present at the scene when the incident had blown up. Even if he did not know where her mother was imprisoned, how could he not find it? This will take a long time. You won't be able to recover without 3 to 5 months, Ming said faintly. So long. Of course. What kind of situation do you think you are in? Your energy was almost sucked dry. Do you know that? Ming suddenly stopped scolding her. To be honest, she was in this state because of what he said. Thinking of this, he lowered his voice and said, "You have to rest well. I will go back and think of a way for you." Okay, Sima Yue nodded. Everyone had seen the reaction of the dragon, just now. Maybe if they followed this path, they would be able to think of a way. Look after her. Don't do anything stupid before her body recovers. Ming instructed Wu Lingyu, and then he tore open space and left. He did not say that he was going to bring Black Shadow and Huan with him, and they were happy not to ask. To put it nicely, they were staying behind to protect Yue. I didn't expect the dragon, to be so powerful. Miss was injured so badly after just a short contact. Black Shadow looked at Sima Yue. Is there any elixir that can help you recover? Sima Yue shook her head slightly. Her energy had been sucked away, and it was not a normal injury. Ordinary elixirs would not work, and she did not prepare any rare elixirs. Then, does the young miss have anything that can help you recover? If there is, Black Shadow, and I will look for it, Huan said. With his reminder, Sima Yue's eyes brightened. She smiled weakly and said, "No need, I've already found it." After saying that, she moved her mind and brought everyone into the Soul Tower. Little Ling already knew what she meant and brought them to the Tree of Souls. Elder Bai, sorry to bother you. Sima Yue bowed to Elder Bai. Why are you injured so badly? Come to me. Elder Bai shook his body, and the leaves rustled. The fragrance that wafted into the air made Huan and Black Shadow feel refreshed. Wu Lingyu carried Sima Yue over and placed her under the tree, letting her rest against the trunk. Elder Bai noticed him and said in surprise, "Huh? This soul is so strange." Chapter 1874. In 1 second, she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book, webno pop-up windows, free to read. Wang. The moment she entered the river of forgetfulness, something seemed to have been awakened. It was a very familiar feeling, a very gentle touch. In the underwater palace, Wu Lingyu's closed eyes suddenly opened, the light in his eyes shining brightly. Yu, you're finally here. He murmured and disappeared from the throne. Sima Yue felt that her body was firmly pressed to the bottom of the river of forgetfulness. She hurriedly put away the things that increased her weight. Only then did she feel a little better. You've got guts. You actually dare to find trouble with me. A voice sounded behind her. She turned around and saw the vapor beast slowly appearing in the water. The vapor beast looked like a bubble. On top of the bubble was a semicircular head with 2 lantern-like eyes. It was staring fiercely at Sima Yue. How did you see me? The vapor beast asked. I saw you just like that. Sima Yue's body was wrapped by something like silk, but she was not in a hurry to break free. She looked towards the Nirvana River, wanting to see Black Shadow and Huan's situation. You don't have to look. They don't have the energy to save you now. The vapor beast said proudly. Sima Yue thought of the lifeless eyes of the fishes and suddenly said, You controlled the minds of those fishes. That's right. The vapor beast grabbed the other side of the silk, and with a thought, Sima Yue was tied even tighter. You ghost, I haven't even gone to find you for revenge, but you came here instead. Sima Yue's arm hurt from being wrapped by that thing. She tried to struggle for a while, but it only made it tighter and tighter. This is a divine weapon. The more you struggle, the tighter it gets. And it can't be cut, it can't be destroyed. The vapor beast slowly approached. You dare to hurt me. I'll eat you today and use your spiritual energy to heal my injuries. As it spoke, it opened its mouth wide. Its semicircular mouth stretched all the way to its stomach. It was almost as long as Sima Yue. Sima Yue could already see the sharp teeth in its mouth and smell the stench coming from its mouth. Just as she was about to calm the air out, she felt someone grabbing her shoulder and pulling her back. At the same time, a spiritual energy hit the vapor beast, blasting the lower half of its mouth off. It's you. The vapor beast saw Wu Lingyu. Although Wu Lingyu didn't cause it any trouble, it still knew about his reputation. When it saw him, it turned around and fled towards the Nirvana River. You still want to escape? Black Shadow and Huan saw that it was going to eat Sima Yue from afar and caught it just in time. Sima Yue did not bother about the escaping vapor beast. The moment she sensed the familiar aura, she could not help but cry. She smiled and looked at the angry Wu Lingyu. She didn't even dare to blink, afraid that if she blinked, it would become an illusion. When the tears left her eyes, they merged with the river water, but they were still discovered by Wu Lingyu. Don't cry. His anger dissipated in an instant. He reached out and touched her face, gently caressing her eyes. Lingyu, I'm not dreaming, am I? She looked at him and felt that this scene was too unbelievable and unreal. Wu Lingyu hugged her, wishing that he could melt her body into his. Yue, I've finally waited for you. He buried his head in her neck, his voice trembling. Sima Yue's arm was helped, but she could still move her forearm. She hugged his waist and buried her head in his chest. At this moment, she did not want to think about anything and let herself go. She only had him in her eyes and in her heart. It seemed that there were only the two of them in the world. Huan and Black Shadow caught the vapor beast and saw the two people hugging each other. To be exact, they saw Wu Lingyu hugging Sima Yue. Their hearts were bubbling. Logically speaking, this should not disturb them at this time. However, this scene made them unhappy, so that they could not make someone happy. Well, I say, shouldn't we untie the young lady first? The Black Shadow spoke, interrupting their two-person world. Miss Arm is bleeding. Huan added. Wu Lingyu happened to be facing the two of them. He glared at them and let go of Sima Yue. His eyes darkened when he saw that her arm was bleeding because of the underworld weapon. I'm fine. Sima Yue touched his arm and comforted him. I'll untie you. He pulled on the underworld weapon and wanted to destroy it directly. Hey, don't destroy it. Sima Yue knew what he was thinking when she saw him like this, so she quickly stopped him. Why do you want it? Wu Lingyu asked. Sima Yue nodded. This underworld weapon is quite interesting. She had thought about it before. If she killed this vapor beast, this underworld weapon would become ownerless, and she would be able to keep it in her bag. Since you want it, I'll keep it for you. Wu Lingyu put down the underworld weapon and turned his gaze to the vapor beast. When the vapor beast saw his eyes, it immediately knelt down in fear and kept shouting, Lord, Lord, please spare my life. Lord, please spare my life. Lord, please spare my life. Wu Lingyu stopped Sima Yue and said coldly, if you had done something ordinary, I could have spared your life. But you wanted to kill Yue and hurt her. Do you want to kill yourself, or do you want me to do it? The vapor beast was filled with despair. It did not expect that it would end up like this. Not only did this guy suddenly appear and occupy the bottom of the river, he even wanted to kill it today. Since it was going to die no matter what, why not? Pooh! Before the vapor beast could get up, its body was pierced by a water arrow, and it fell down. The underworld weapon that was tied to Sima Yue lost control because of its owner's death and loosened. Wu Lingyu took it down and put it in her hand. Sima Yue rubbed her numb arm and kept the underworld weapon. She smiled and said, wait until I get to the shore. I'll make this underworld weapon recognize me as its owner. Let me take a look at your injuries. Wu Lingyu said, I'm fine. Lingyu, let me introduce them to you. They are. Before Sima Yue could finish her sentence, she was pulled away by Wu Lingyu. I don't know the guy who came with you, but I'm already very familiar with Black Shadow. Don't worry about these two people. Let's find a place to talk first. Wu Lingyu's voice floated over. You two are not allowed to follow. Of course, Black Shadow and Huan would not listen to him. But when they moved, they found that they were trapped by the water and could only watch him take Sima Yue away. Damn, this guy must be taking revenge. Revenge on us for interrupting them just now. Black Shadow shouted. Although the power of the river of forgetfulness would not hurt them, it was still possible to temporarily trap them. Juan gave him a look that said, I didn't expect him to be so powerful. He has already merged with the river of forgetfulness so well. Sure enough, his talent is enough to make the king sigh. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.